acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game. All of those dark nights I got then breaking my back to make it out. Got me feeling like pain. I ain't never need your help. I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy. The riches got a mad ass son. I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up. Whole team with me. But known for my city like Giza. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You try to aim for the top like this and you're in your element with a fire like this. And they hoping you fall and they praying you miss. But it's all in the risk. I got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Flow is like water. I'm forced through the fire. I'm feeling like gold. Gotta stay grounded, stay down to earth. Following God and you grinding. You do as you told. I don't work to make you like me, but I'm front and center. Word to Spike Lee. And God came in the nick of time. They think I'm crazy, but I might be. Let's run it up, run it up, run it up. We beating the odds just to sum it up. You know it's a rap, never waistlines, and I'm cutting the weight like a tummy tuck. That mean I'm about to give it out right now. You see what's coming down the line, I never pipe down. I give 100% and be trying to stun on my enemies. In my element is crazy, it's the mic sound. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element. Never switch up. 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 Keep that same energy. Never switch up. I'm in my element.
Woo! Salute, 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 ATP. Oh, salute. Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon. Running a little late, man. Salute, salute to everybody in the building, man. Excuse the tardiness. Excuse the tardiness. Been a long day, man. Believe it or not, you can see it in my face. I damn near just woke up, man. Had to take me a little midday afternoon nap. You know how it is. Got a little carried away, man. But we in the building, man. We do have a lot to talk about today. Shout out to everybody in the building, of course. As you're stepping into the building, take a moment to go ahead and hit that like button. Support the grind, support the channel, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. I appreciate you guys showing up. Apologize once again for being a little late, but sometimes it happens, right? But we on point, man. We on point, man. We are not slipping here, man. Shout out to No Problem in the building. Says Zoo, what's up? What's up? Mr. Rain, what's good? What's good? Akeem Blake in the building says peace to the gods on earth, God and blessings. Clay, what up? Angelo, what up? What up? What up? What up? My guy Angelo Reyes is in the building too. He'll be up here in a second. Akeem, salute, salute, salute. You have it, yeah. He needs to get a YouTube channel, man. He does, man. I think he is gonna put one together eventually, though, for sure. No problem. Kalia World, salute, salute, salute. Say, hey, Claymore, you're late. Yeah, man, a little bit late. Shout out to Joe Uso in the building. Shout out to my Us in the building. Says, what's good, Clay? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, man, it's fight week. Last episode on Tuesday, we talked about the fights that happened that weekend with Keshawn Davis, Brian Norman Jr. We talked a little bit about Philip Ergovich and Moses Atama potentially fighting. We talked about Fabio Warley activating rematch clauses. We talked about a bunch of different things, right? And touched a little bit on this topic that we're going to be talking about today. Because I know everybody, has their different opinions on this fight. Me personally, and not a fight I was looking to have. But it's a fight we have on the table. And believe it or not, this fight does have some interesting caveats to it, right? There's some different things about this fight that is somewhat intriguing, right? Because without a doubt, Oleksandr Usyk is 100% super highly favored to win this fight. You have to go that way when you look at the pedigree and the accomplishments of Oleksandr Usyk. How can you not go his way? And Rico Verhoeven even to me, an unknown fighter. I just know him of his history and what he's accomplished in the kickboxing arena, which I'm not a big I don't follow kickboxing like that, right? It is what it is. But I did watch Rico Verhoeven a little bit. I looked over some of his stuff a little bit here, and I tried to figure to myself exactly what kind of angle approach is Rico Verhoeven going to have to take in order to make this fight right here competitive. You know, there's ways to approach, 100 ways to approach the skinning a cat, right? But I don't know if there's 100 ways for Rico Verhoeven to approach fighting Oleksandr Usyk. He does bring some intangibles, some interesting intangibles into the ring. A striker, of course, by nature, not a boxer, a kickboxer, but very similar, right? He's gonna have to work some different angles and some different things in this particular fight in order to make it interesting. And I think the big question may be, can he last the 12 rounds? If he goes a full 12 rounds, does he get the credit, the credit of damn near winning this fight? And how does that affect Oleksandr Usyk's legacy? Pushback, obviously, on Oleksandr Usyk as he is undisputed. I mean, he's unified now, right? They've taken the WBO belt from him, I believe. Have they taken the WBO belt? No. Yes, they've taken the WBO belt from him. Correct. Fabio Worley was an elevated champion, and now Daniel Dubois is a WBO champion. So he's no longer undisputed per se on paper, but I think most people acknowledge Oleksandr Usyk as an undisputed champion, right? But the sanctioning body's not getting behind this fight except for one sanctioning body. And I'm sure if I ask you guys to guess, it wouldn't be hard to figure it out. We'll talk about that as well, because maybe that's the bigger story when it comes to as far as the significance of this fight, right? And just another, I would say nail in the, I was going to say nail in the coffin, but I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say that here goes another piece of information that goes into that box of just the sanctioning bodies, the purity of the sanctioning bodies and the integrity of the sanctioning bodies. And at times, when you're seeing things like this, it makes you question it. Rico Verhoeven, somebody with one professional fight in his whole career. And that was some odd 10 plus years ago. I don't know how many years ago it was when he had that fight as some sort of a, one professional fight he had in his career. This guy's a career kickboxer, but the WBC will be sanctioning this fight here, and there'll be a WBC title on the line. All that. Right? All that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the undercard as well. Hamzah Sheeraz also on this card, going to be going for his first official title as well. We know 168 has wide open, right? Has been wide open since Terrence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez, took that undisputed title away from Canelo Alvarez, and then retired, right? Scattering these belts across the space. Hamzah Sheeraz is somebody who's been in the conversations of fighting a Canelo Alvarez. He's been in the conversation of being in fights with Diego Pacheco, trying to find that right dance partner. He does have one on Saturday, and this one will have that WBO title, 168-pound title on the line, which is significant in the fact that the division is just starting to cook up again, right? Around or in spite of a Canelo and Alvarez and a Terrence Bud Crawford. We watched Jaime Munguia pick himself up a regular WBA title in the past weeks. We watch Osley Iglesias. I want to say Osley Iglesias. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Pick up an IBF title in the past weeks or so. And we're going to see, and we've seen Christian Mbili, right? Obviously be elevated to a WBC super middleweight champion. We've even seen Lester Martinez pick up of some sort of an interim title and put himself in a conversation. So the 168-pound division has been cooking up with some new talent, some new eyes. Hamza Shiraz, without a doubt, one of the most sought after super middleweights, right? Last time we saw Hamza Shiraz, we saw what he did to Edgar Berlanga. We've also seen him go, look pedestrian against Carlos Adames. Now, going into that with injuries and things of that nature, that's all part of the conversation, right? You guys know how I feel about it. I always quote showbiz when it comes to that. No excuses, but sometimes there's reasons, right? And, he kind of redeemed himself in that fight against Edgar Berlanga, a big puncher at 168. And we saw Hamza Shiraz make short change of him, dispatching of him inside of 5 rounds, and now getting an opportunity to become a champion in the division. In my opinion, maybe the number one guy in the division outside of maybe Canelo Alvarez, right? We'll talk about that as well. Jack Catterall versus Shakram Giesov is going to be an interesting fight, right? Very interesting also. We've seen Jack Catterall somewhat evolve a little bit. You know, this is a fighter who arguably should have been an undisputed champion at one point in his career at 140 pounds. You guys recall in that close decision that a lot of people thought should have went his way, that went to Josh Taylor. So this guy is almost like a, you know, maybe if you're a big Jack Catterall fan, you can make an argument to say he's an uncrowned king of sorts, right? Just somebody whose resume doesn't maybe properly showcase who he is. Maybe he should be showing up to the ring as formerly undisputed champion, you know what I'm saying, at 140, and what kind of leverage would that have brought to 147 if he was to bring those type of accolades into the division. Regardless, making a move at one point or another, Jack Catterall has to go on to work with Bozy Ennis. We saw how he looked against Echo Usman, stopping Echo Usman, and that Bozy Ennis style showing and proving for him to be a good thing. Really, I call him Jack Catterall 2.0 because it's almost like he just revitalized his whole career in that performance. But interestingly enough as well, rumor has it that Bozy Ennis is not part of this camp. So if that is the case, which, you know, one could ask multiple questions as to why that is the case, right? He just took you to a victory, put you in position to be, you know, number one in the sanctioning bodies, to be right there around the corner to maybe a Devin Haney fight or something of that nature. Why separate from Bozy Ennis at this point? I'm hearing things about maybe he wanted to be closer to his family, the whole entire U.S. thing. I'm also hearing rumors about potentially Bozy Ennis maybe having a little bit too much going on in his camp, maybe too many people. Back to that Derrick James conversation, right? If you guys recall, Derrick James was a trainer who had a bunch of champions in his stable, but at some point or another, a lot of those champions found their way away from Derrick James because he had too many, right? Just too many big stars. He had Anthony Joshua, he had Ryan Garcia, he had Errol Spence Jr., he had Jamel Charlo, he had Frank Martin, he had all these names, and just end up spreading himself a little too thin, one would argue, right? At least from the fighter's point of view. And you saw AJ make his way back to the UK and start working with Ben Davidson. You saw Jamel Charlo, you know, get closer to Juan Guzman. You've seen Errol Spence Jr., you know, basically going his own different direction after that Terrence Crawford fight. Even Frank Martin moved on, right? He lost all of them trying to feed all of them instead of focusing on one, like you would see Bomac do with a Terrence Crawford. He spread himself thin, and fighters moved on from him. Is that the case for Bozy Ennis? Is Bozy Ennis spread a little too thin for a Jack Catterall who's leaving his home country of England to come down and train with Bozy Ennis, but only, you know, subject to split his time between a up-and-coming superstar in Boots Ennis, who's now moved up to 154 and getting ready to challenge Xander Zayas for a unified title, or, you know, Bozy working with an Andy Cruz, you know what I'm saying, who's on the verge of fighting another eliminator, coming off of a title fight that he lost in a close decision with Raymond Morataya. Is he spread too thin there? Stephen Fulton, another up-and-coming star. You know, at the end of the day, what's the story behind this is one part of the conversation. But maybe the other part of the conversation as well is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Who's Jack Catterall 2.0 going to be in the ring against a very formidable opponent in Shakram Giasov, right? Who's a very dangerous opponent on multiple different levels of the game. Somebody who I think, you know, low-key's been ducked by Rolly Romero, should have been there getting his title shot for a WBA title. This fight right here may be one of the fights, maybe the fight of the night on the card as far as competitive is concerned, right? And then we got a couple other fights on the card. Also, I want to talk about a little bit today. Keshawn Davis does an interview, which I thought was a great interview. I can't remember the gentleman's name. I'll look it up and give him his flowers before we get into the interview. But you know, Keshawn Davis is somebody who's in a space of evolution. You know, and I know a lot of people. I know Keshawn rubs a lot of people. You know, he's an acquired taste, right? You know, he's an antagonist in his nature. But I think at the root of his nature is somebody who's looking for the biggest, most competitive fights. But also, there's a lot of different things going on with Keshawn Davis, you know, personally, life-wise, deaths in the family. You know what I'm saying? He has a big family, you know, his brothers, and, you know, a history of maybe some mental health issues or concerns, and how he balances all those things. But one thing I always say about Keshawn is, inside that ring, he always finds his Zen mode. He always finds himself in that ring. He's always a superior athlete inside that ring, and very hard to find too many fighters that you could list that I think you would favor against Keshawn Davis, except for the biggest stars, obviously. On the back end of this Devin Haney situation and the fights being made and things of that nature. He's just becoming more and more of an interesting character, somebody who we're watching close, but showing improving when he gets his opportunities, but falling short sometimes every now and then based on outside the ring activities, basically getting his way. One might argue Keshawn is not as focused as he could be or should be. I don't know, right? We'll talk about that. We'll bring that to the table as well. And of course, on the back end of all of that, we will open the panel up, throw the link out there. I'm looking forward to hear the people in the building talk about these topics, these fights. So, get your pen and your paper out, write your talking points, your notes, and then hit that link when we throw that link out there. I'm looking forward to hear from all you guys, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Texas Seat in the building. Salute to you, man. Big Mason, man. What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome down, Van Howder. Cheeks Van Howder in the building. Salute, 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 salute. Let me see here. End Conquest in the building. Peace, peace, peace. Low Nose Boxing. What's good, man? Yeah, Low Nose says Jack Catterall, the white son of Bozy Ennis. Yeah, interesting, man. I don't know if Bozy's going to be in that corner. Maybe he is, though, because I'm hearing rumors he might be there and that he just wasn't. It's just kind of weird if he wasn't present during the camp the way he normally is. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? SOB TV, salute, salute. Sam from Jersey in the building, man. Sam, what's good with you, man? Mine, yours in the building. What's good? Mine, yours. What's good? Well, Haney said a lot of nothing in his interview at the press conference. He had an interview. I missed it. He was at the press conference. Oh, man. I saw some of the press conference, just a little bit, but not a lot. I woke up late, man. I did not catch him at the press conference. I don't know. I'm sure Angelo did, though. He's in the building. When he gets up here, maybe he can put me on what happened here. That being said, though, let's bring him up here, man. Y'all hate to love him. Y'all love to hate him, or you love that you do hate him. I don't know what it is. But he is who he is, yo. Shout out to my co-host, Angelo Reyes, in the building. Was good.
I need a Rihanna button. Like, I know you'll get popped for it, but I need a Rihanna button so that when I come on, it plays that. And I hate that I love you so. Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to find it, man. I don't know. Maybe a little sample won't get us caught up. Maybe I mean, maybe they can respect that. I don't know, man. Definitely. What's good with you, man?
Yeah, I think that was the song with Neo. But good afternoon, everybody. It's afternoon in the West Coast now. Officially afternoon in the East Coast where Clay is at. I was a little harsh on our Tuesday live about this event. I am changing my mind now that this is actually popping, bro. Like, there is a lot of over 100 global medias there for this event. So respectfully, I retract what my former statements, and what I will say is, when it comes to the understanding of Turkey and what he's trying to do in terms of the Project 2030, the fact that there's so many different international pieces to this, whether it's Japan or America, or he's including all these different fighters in there so that all this global media shows up. But man, Clay, this feels like a UFC week. Like, I was like, damn, there's hella media there. This isn't like the Keshawn show that we just called, where there was barely any media there, right?
I agree.
Man,
I agree.
This is crazy.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? Like, that's something and that's why I named the thumbnail. Shout out to the thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? That's why I put it on there, because I think that's what this is about, right? It's about this here. It's about this right here, right? It's this spectacle. You know what I'm saying? It's something interesting when you see somebody with the kind of resources that Turkey Al-Sheikh brings in there with the Prince. I can't remember his name. Prince bin Salahin.
Yeah, Osama bin Laden, or not Osama bin Laden. My bad. It's Prince. I'm gonna get the correct name. My bad, bro. See, that's a Freudian slip.
Yeah. No, I was like, no, that's not what I was looking for. That's not who I thought his name was.
My bad, guys. My bad. The Prince of Saudi Arabia. My bad, guys.
Prince bin Salman.
Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud is his name.
Well, the Prince of Saudi Arabia, who's put a lot of money you know what I'm saying, behind boxing in the past 3 years or so, maybe a little more than 3 years. I'm
Right.
not sure what the exact number is, but that's something that you're gonna see from them, right? Is this type of spectacle. It is a spectacle. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I've never seen before watching in boxing. I mean, you know, boxing has a history of pushing some spaces, you know what I'm saying? When the Muhammad Ali era and around those times, and them going, you know what I'm saying, to the Philippines or going to, you know, Africa, and, you know, doing
Malaysia.
Malaysia, right? And doing these spectacle type events as far as production is concerned. And they're following those footsteps, right? They're walking in the footsteps of making history in boxing. So there's an opportunity there. And I think also outside of the production and all the fights out on the card, which I think the undercard is underrated.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great undercard. I think also what's going to be interesting is watching how they roll this out. This is going to be in front of, you know, one of the ninth wonders of the world, right? The Egyptian pyramids. They're going to actually put this out there. It's going to be interesting to watch it come together. And I also think there's something about that Riyadh season stage that motivates fighters to fight in a whole different way, right? They see the opportunity. So I'm looking forward to see Rico Verhoeven give his best. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's been working on something for Oleksandr Usyk. He knows who he's fighting. He knows he's fighting this era's, you know, the best heavyweight. He's the Terrence Crawford of the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? He's just somebody who's undeniable. So you can't, you know, he knows what he's facing, and he's still going to jump in this ring and put his best foot forward. And we always got to remember at his heart, he's a competitor. He's a real competitor.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's see what he does, right? Let's see what he does.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, what do I always say, Clay, and what makes our ATP Combat Media show so fun is that you're only good at debating if you can debate both sides, even if you don't believe in the other side. So here I go. Let me get in some hot water, Clay. Now, you guys already know what I said on Tuesday, and obviously I believe Usyk, and I even said it's going to be a wash. It won't even go past the 6th round. Blah, blah, blah. So since I'm already recorded saying that, watch, Clay. There's going to be people going, man, I heard Angelo talking about how Rico has a chance and blah, blah, blah. But I'd like to play the devil's advocate and throw out some nuggets as to why this could be a very compelling fight. Rico Verhoeven is much bigger than Usyk, right?
Right.
And because Rico Verhoeven is taller, he's got the longer reach, but this guy takes kicks for a living. He is the best kickboxer in the world. And I don't know about you guys, man, but taking a kick to the face oftentimes is worse than taking a punch to the face. So if you're questioning Rico Verhoeven's toughness, you will be wrong.
His durability.
His durability is going to be there. So Usyk's gonna need to really get him. And to my colleague Claymore, who hates the fact that Daniel Dubois never got up when he feels he could have gotten up on the Usyk Dubois fight, I don't think you're gonna see Rico do that. I don't think you're gonna see Rico like get dropped and then not get up. This is a man who's used to the war, right? Also, a little little something that's flying under the radar that people aren't talking about. Peter Fury has been the boxing coach of Rico Verhoeven. And Peter Fury is adamantly trying to make a name for himself that he has not only helped his son get to the level that Tyson Fury's gotten to, but also all his other sons, but that he can coach. And I think it's possible, Clay, it is possible that this goes the distance in where
that's what I said.
I know. I'm just saying I got to debate the other side just because, right? So there is the Peter Fury. You would be correct about that. And then lastly, look, man, even Conor McGregor, who we have to, Conor McGregor is coming from a striking background when he came into MMA. So it's a closer comparison. Because Conor was really a high-level striker. He had a karate background, even in Ireland. He had a boxing background, doing amateurs in the UK. So Rico has an ability to even do what McGregor was able to do with who we thought was the GOAT at that time. You know, it took all the way to what, round 10 for Floyd to finally put away Conor. So, you know, you got a 220 guy. Let's say at best, Usyk's gonna weigh 230 at best, right? Rico's gonna tower over him and he's gonna be much bigger. So I don't think Usyk's just gonna walk in there and try to like Mike Tyson his ass. I think that it's gonna be a very tactical match. If Rico gets into a rhythm, right? That length, that jab. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. This could look a little closer to Joshua Usyk than it does Usyk Dubois.
Listen, there are people who argued. There are people who argued. I think I'm echoing over there. I'm echoing over on your side. I can't hear myself. Okay, you muted it. Okay. There are people who argue that Verhoeven might have given Anthony Joshua a run for his money. This AJ that we've seen. He's a straight puncher. He knows how to, he's a big puncher. One thing I think people sleep on with kickboxers is the footwork of kickboxers, their positioning. In order for them to let those kicks go, in order for them to get those shots, and how defensively responsible they have to be because of the kicks that can come at them, the knees that are going to come at them, right? They're strikers. This is very different than Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou was protecting himself. Francis Ngannou was protecting himself from takedowns, right? And things of that nature. I believe kickboxing is a way more disciplined form of striking than whatever MMA, you know what I'm saying, provided. You know what I'm saying? Behind boxing, I would probably have to put kickboxing as one of the top striking disciplines in the game. You know what I mean? You might want to bring like some Muay Thai a little bit and things of that nature. But kickboxing is it's going to be interesting to watch how this translates, because this is a heavyweight division. And Rico Verhoeven's going to be, he's looking great, by the way. I don't know if you've seen him. He is in great physical shape. His conditioning, I expect to be right there. Now, Usyk is going to tap into those gas tanks. He's going to say, listen, you ain't been 12. You know what I'm saying? That's not what you do. You don't do 12 rounds. I think kickboxing is maybe 5 rounds or 6 rounds. I don't know how many rounds it normally goes, but it's not 12. So, you know, without a doubt, he's going to come in with some disadvantages getting in there with Oleksandr Usyk. And Usyk is going to be aware of that. He's going to be attacking that body. He's going to be doing things of that nature. But I think you're going to see Rico Verhoeven have some decent footwork. I think what I mean by that is, can Rico Verhoeven cut the ring down a little bit for Oleksandr Usyk? Can he make it a little smaller space? He will get physical with him. You know, he'll tie him up when he gets close. He won't just allow Oleksandr Usyk to just float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Not to say that Usyk won't float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, because he's skilled enough to do it, but he's going to have to do it, right? He's going to have to do it. If Rico can shrink this ring and make it half the size, make the ring half the size and stop all that movement, force Oleksandr Usyk to fight his way out of some of these situations where they're trading shots, Rico can land a straight shot and hurt Oleksandr Usyk. He can do it. Will he do it? I mean, Saturday we'll see, right? What are the odds? Listen, guys, use your imagination, right? Nobody's trying to sell you guys wolf tickets, but I think the fight can be very interesting, especially to headline a card like what they're going to be headlining, because there's going to be a lot of great boxing on that undercard, right? There's going to be a lot of great boxing on that undercard. I'll say this, though. If Oleksandr Usyk stops Rico Verhoeven, we have to give Oleksandr Usyk his flowers. We cannot play that game on this one and say that, oh, I was just a kickboxer. No, bro. No, bro. It's not just a kickboxer. It's the kickboxer. He is the Oleksandr Usyk, the Terrence Crawford. He is the creme de la creme. He is the best kickboxer of this era, right? He is that guy. Super celebrated in that space. Interesting how Turkey Al-Sheikh, if you saw him speak on it, talking about how this fight was actually created, that John Statham, Jason Statham. Sorry, you're right. Jason Statham, a huge combat sport fan of the UFC, of boxing, and you know, we've seen him in the movies, but he is actually he's like a white Jay White, right? Jason Statham, right? He's like one of those. He's an actor, but he's really him. Like, he actually is really a badass. And he's the one who whispered into the ear of Turkey Al-Sheikh about this. And he said, I'm gonna tell you what, bro. He said Turkey said he showed him a video, and he said, this guy right here, bro, you should make a super fight between him and Oleksandr Usyk. I'm telling you, it's going to be way more interesting than you think it is. What do you think about that? What Jason Statham, that whole story?
No, I mean, going to the bag of my history, as you know, Clay, and some of the guys and has been watching us for a while now. I actually had, I want to say this was maybe 2014 or 2015. Paradigm, which is the management group at that time. I think they still are, but at that time they were, of Rico Verhoeven for kickboxing, had reached out to me about training Rico possibly for boxing, right? Like converting some of his style again into boxing. And even at that time, you know, what was that? He was only still like getting close because he's 37 now. So he wasn't even 30 yet. They were already thinking about it back then, right? So the fact that Jason Statham, who was in a movie with Rico, and they kind of built a natural friendship, is sitting next to Turkey in a Canelo Crawford fight in which everybody was there, including me. I was there too, Clay, right? Yeah, man, it doesn't surprise me at all that Jason Statham was telling him, "Hey, man, I think if this guy boxes, because let's not forget he was supposed to box Anthony Joshua. That was Anthony Joshua's opponent, but then the accident happened. So he was going to break into boxing no matter what. And I believe Turkey also said that win or lose, he's going to include Rico into something. Like something else is happening. So I don't know if it'll be back into kickboxing. I don't know if Rico will get I don't know. I mean, like there's a lot of possibilities, Clay. I don't know what I don't know, but who's to say Rico doesn't take him to distance? And then how about this? How about Rico Verhoeven versus Moses Itama if he takes Usyk the distance?
I don't think that's a good idea.
You know, they did it to Ngannou, bro. They did it to Ngannou.
They ain't putting Ngannou in there with no Itama. But listen, right? Would you be surprised to see like a decent pedigree from him in this fight? In other words, he's in there with the best heavyweight boxer in the game, right? He's in there with generational talent. Oleksandr Usyk, him boxing with Oleksandr Usyk and ending up, you know, lasting 12 rounds. Because, you know, he could last 12 rounds, but get his ass whipped for 12 rounds, just be durable, just won't go away. But if he's actually boxing, like, can he win rounds? Are we going to see him win some rounds? Or is he going to have moments in this fight that'll be something that can maybe where the boxing space would welcome Rico Verhoeven into the space and be like, you know what? I want to see more from this guy. Although he got outclassed by somebody who was supposed to outclass him at the same exact time. Damn, I didn't realize that pedigree was there. Because like you mentioned with Peter Fury and how long he's been training and the phone call you got, you know, some odd years ago, you know, 5-7+ years ago, however many years it was, that there was always an interest there, right? This is not just a money grab. It is a money grab. 100%. There's money on the table. It's a big money grab, but it's not just a money grab. This is something that one would argue was the writing was on the wall for Rico Verhoeven, that this was already in the works. He's been training for all these years for this moment. And that culminate into something even more interesting now in this fight that people just aren't aware of because they haven't been watching Rico Verhoeven.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you really open your eyes to the fact that in the heavyweight division, we always say this, that if you're in the industry and you're a coach in the industry or you're a manager in the industry, heavyweights, the age is different. That's why if you choose to, you can take so much time with someone like a Demazian Van Houten, right? If you choose to. Or if you choose to, you could push someone fast like Moses Itama. They're the same age. They're about a year apart. But Moses is already talking about, I'm going for a world title shot. Demazian's more like, hey, you know, maybe I'm 2 years away, right? But the age gap, they could still be here for the next 15 years if they wanted to, because we even saw how George Foreman was able to win a world title at 45 against, at that time, the best in the world in Michael Moore, right? So why wouldn't it be possible for someone like Rico Verhoeven to really showcase, okay, look, you guys just saw where my skill set is at. I'm ready to fully convert. My first real match was against the #1 guy in the whole world, possibly the GOAT, and I took him to distance? Why wouldn't you let him all of a sudden say, sign to, I don't know, Clay, Zuffa Boxing and let him, get a Charles Martin to build himself up, and start to maybe an Otto Wallen starts to show up, and then Rico's got the name. Rico will bring the fans. This will only make Rico more popular. We certainly know that movie stars like Jason Statham will come to watch a Rico fight. So why wouldn't the Super Boxing go? Hey man, we're in the heavyweight business. Let's get them in here. Let's get them to get these guys like Jardé Anderson out. You know what I mean? Like, if he looks good, why not, Clay?
He's a specimen, man. He's a specimen, man. And as far as physically, you know what I mean? And I'll be interested in watching close to see the pedigree. I'm wondering in back of my mind, is this guy got a better pedigree than a Fabio Wardley, right? Does he bring that? Fabio brings that big right hand. We know about that. We know how much of a game changer that right hand is. But that discipline to work behind a jab, that intelligence, that mental part of aspect of the game. When we talk about that 70-30, 80-20 ratio, as far as mental versus physical, Rico brings that mental aspect to the game. He's a disciplined, tried true champion, right? And I'm speaking about the mindset, right, Angelo? Like, not in boxing, correct? If people in the chat or on the replay want to say, yeah, but not in boxing, okay, but a champion is a champion. There's a mindset to a champion, kind of like what's my guy's name? Kobe Bryant, with that Mamba mentality, that mentality that takes you through it. And if you guys watch Rico Verhoeven, I've done a little bit of a video study on him. He's been through some gritty moments. He's not somebody who's just been dominating everybody all the way through as far as not having to get up. He's had to get up off his ass. He's had his eyes split. He's bled. He's been in fights where you didn't think it was going his way. Then he turned the tide, right? So when we're talking about grit, I'm telling you, this guy has the grit of a champion. He has the grit of somebody who will not lose. You got to take everything from him in order to stop him, right? And I think that's a tall order when people say Usyk is going to stop him. That's why I said if Usyk does stop him, which he can, you're going to have to give Usyk his flowers, bro, because this guy is not there to be stopped, bro. He is a durable, intelligent, cerebral, powerful heavyweight. How tall is he? What is his physical?
He's 6'6". He's a little bit taller than Anthony Joshua, which is why it's perfect for people like Daniel Lappin to be a part of Usyk's camp. Daniel Lappin's also fighting on this card at I think it's at light heavyweight or cruiserweight. I gotta look. That's one of Usyk's like up and coming amateur guys that he brought up to the pros and now is doing really well. Obviously Anthony Joshua's right there. So Clay, that the one thing I'll say just to push back on what you're saying is that the mentality will be there, but it's just like what Conor found out, man. Like Conor found out, like when you're in the ring, bright lights in a boxing, that's why boxing is the best. Yeah, I would say that the reason why the UFC got so popular in a shorter amount of time, especially in the US, but they are globally so popular that I haven't seen a company buy a match room yet for $7.7 billion. You know what I'm trying to say? So the facts are the facts, but the reason why the UFC is liked so much by so many people across the board is because you don't have to be a hardcore to like it, and it's really 50-50. Like we can sit there and act like Chimaev was going to win, and what happened? Strickland won. He was a plus 600. Like, we really don't know. And in boxing for too long, they've done A side, B side that a lot of casual fans are like, yeah, but we already know who's going to win, right? So to your point, even in this situation with Verhoeven, you and I know Usyk should definitely win. And I even said on Tuesday, Usyk would stop this guy. I would be very surprised if it goes past 6 rounds. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, to go to the other side, because again, that's what a good debater can do, man. So at the end of the day, if you haven't tested yourself in a boxing level mental endurance game past 5 rounds, and your best is 5 rounds of kickboxing, you might have gone to war in a kickboxing, so your toughness is there. But I'm telling you, man, when that brain, when your brain muscle is panicking, bro, your ass, that's when people, that's what you always get mad at with Dubois. That's what happens, man. Like, you can be physically as gifted as you want, man. If you're gonna, that mental
toughness and grit that's why, you know, the great the Teddy Atlas is, and you know, the great champions always talk about it. It's up here. Even in Keshawn Davis's interview, which we'll talk about a little bit later, he talks about this part of the game being the most important part of you know, his biggest challenge, right? To say that physically, I'm not worried about anybody in the ring. I know who I am. I know I'm conditioned to go 12. I know I got the grit. My battle's always been with the guy in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? My battle's always been with that guy. That's what makes a big difference as to whether or not I give a superstar showcase event or a lackluster event. It's not because of the opponent, not yet at least. I haven't met that fighter who's been able to really slow me down the way you guys think. It's me. It's my mind. It's where I'm at going into the fight. It's who I am. Those are the challenges that I fight going into these fights, fighting the guy in the mirror. Rico arguably has faced that challenge in his kickboxing career, but he hasn't, I agree with you 100%, hasn't faced it, hasn't been tested like the way it's probably going to be tested on Saturday against an Oleksandr Usyk. A war of attrition is really going to be a big part of the conversation on Saturday. This ain't about 5 rounds. This is a 12-round fight. And Usyk is aware of it all.
It's a real championship fight, Clay. So I know the other sanctioning body said no, but of course, as you know, the WBC is pay to play. But hey, man, if Rico even gets to split decision, let's say it's
crazy. If he gets a split decision,
right? You know what I mean?
If a judge finds that Rico won this fight, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy.
That's what I mean. It's like it's really a gift to Rico to get to test himself against the best in the world at this stage, right? There's no age gap. They're both the same age. Usyk is still, we could argue, he's still at the very top of his game, right? And even though I've been saying Naoya Inoue should have been pound for pound #1 for a long time, even after the Nakatani fight, there's still people who will argue with me about, nah, bro, Usyk's still #1, even with the inactivity. So people still deem Usyk as a #1 pound for pound guy. So if Rico if he goes unanimous decision and he goes the distance, we're going to give Rico credit. We're going to give Usyk credit, right? If Usyk knocks him out, we still got to give Usyk credit, but we got to give Rico credit, right? You know, depending on how he got knocked out, right? How it looks, okay? But man, bro, don't let it be Ngannou versus Fury, bro. Don't let it be a split decision, because then that's how Ngannou got fed to Joshua, bro. That's what I'm telling you. If Rico does this and it's a split decision, Moses Itama versus Rico Verhoeven. Watch, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they decided to do that. I don't think that's, you know, Moses is just different, Angela. I'm trying to tell you, man. He's just the next. He's dangerous for anybody, man. He's just, you know, his experience, right? The amount of rounds he's had as a professional is where he falls short. But it is what it is, right? But also on this card, potentially, because there's some, you know, fight of the night has some competition, right? This fight is a spectacle, Rico versus Oleksandr Usyk. But as far as fight of the night is concerned, there's some possibilities on this card here. On the co-main event, we have Hamzah Sheeraz versus Alam Bejic in this fight right here. That's not
going to be a fight of the night, bro. He's going to knock him out.
I don't know if it's going to be fight of the night, but it might be knockout of the year candidate.
Yeah, knockout of the year.
Right? That's not fight of the year. So I'm talking about the moments, right? The moments here that I'm talking about, right? I mean, that fight right there, Hamzah Sheeraz finally gets an opportunity. This one for a vacant WBO super middleweight championship title. So 168 is wide open right now, right? Ever since the Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez situation happened, the division is just wide open for somebody to take that position. And we've watched some very interesting moments this year in the super middleweight division. We watched Najee Lopez have a moment this year. We watched Lester Martinez have a moment this year. We watch Ozzy Iglesias pick up a IBF title this year. Not that much of a star-studded performance, but you know, we watch a new champion there. We watch Jaime Munguia put on one of the best performances I think I've seen Jaime Munguia have. You know what I'm saying? Against an Armando Resendez and become a WBA champion. And of course, we know about an elevated champion in Christian and Billy, and he was part of a fight of the year candidate between him and Lester Martinez. So, and he's, you know, lined up to fight against Canelo Alvarez, a star-studded fight right there. The division is wide open. A lot of people are in the conversation at 168 right now. You know, I can see unifications happening very easily in the division. Hamza Shiraz is kind of like that missing piece. We watched him come off of that Edgar Berlanga performance and dominate, right? Coming off the back end of a, maybe a gifted draw against Carlos Adames on a bad night for him in a weight class maybe he shouldn't have been in, and also, dealing with some, maybe some injuries and some other things that got in his way in that fight. But regardless, came back like a bat out of hell against Edgar Berlanga, outclasses and stops Edgar Berlanga inside of 5 rounds. He brought on Andy Lee, which I think is one of the most special dynamics in boxing right now that's understated, is the Andy Lee, Hamza Shiraz dynamic, right? Like, those guys fit like a glove. Like, Andy Lee, what he does and what he brings to the table, Hamza's like Andy Lee's like a canvas that he's like, oh my God. I mean, it's one thing. I know I got Patty Donovan. I know I'm working with Ben Whitaker. This guy right here physically has all the intangibles and the abilities I love training. You hear when Andy Lee talks about Hamza, he's like, you guys just don't understand, bro. He's like, you guys just don't understand, bro. He has a relationship. Hamza and him have a bond and a dynamic that I think is going to be, that puts Hamza right at the top of the 168-pound conversation. He gets an opportunity to get himself a title on Saturday. What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's going to win, guys. Like, don't bet against Hamzah Sheeraz. But I remember, I want to say this was 2, maybe 3 years ago. I was telling like Raider Nation about Hamzah Sheeraz, and the ones who really watch boxing, I kept telling them, like, listen to me, man. This guy is Tommy Hearns reincarnated. And they're like, man, you're talking so much shit, Angelo, right? When he linked up with Andy Lee, that was his Emmanuel Stewart, bro. This is Tommy Hearns.
And we know Andy and Emmanuel's relationship. He's really like the last student. Right.
That's why I made the correlation. So I am telling you that don't get it twisted. Will Hamzah Sheeraz end up at 175? Maybe eventually, but not anytime soon, because the whole thing with 160 is his body couldn't really make that.
Oh, damn. I said Najee Lopez. I was tripping. Sorry.
Yeah. The jump from 160 to 168, that's a big enough gap that Hamza could dominate 168 for quite a while, right? It's a division on his own. We already know he ain't signing to Zuffa. He's a Queensberry guy, right? He's been with Queensberry since a teenager. He's very loyal to Frank Warren. So you're looking at a guy who his next big payday would be after he wins this, it's Canelo Alvarez. But what if next year? What if he beats Canelo Alvarez? You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's one of these things where you go, I don't know, man. This could be like a Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran moment. Like at the time when Tommy Hearns knocked out Duran was kind of long in the tooth. And it wasn't that Duran was done, because Duran was able to come back and win against Iran Barkley. I'm just saying, are we going to be, you and I and other pundits are going to be sitting there going, I don't know, man. I think Hamza could beat Canelo. You know what I mean? Right? So
I think there's a good possibility.
I'm talking about next year.
Yeah,
I
know exactly. I think that's very possible. What you're saying.
Yeah. So I think that this fight is for us to see with our own eyes. Okay, this is what Hamza really looks like with the development of Andy Lee. This Alem Burjic guy, look, man, I don't know how the fuck he got to be a contender. I've watched the fights. I've seen the opponents he's beaten. This guy's just food, Clay. So he's out of there as soon as Hamza wants him out. But we're really looking to see how much Hamza's improved. And really, I'm looking at this fight more as this is Hamza's sparring partner to prepare for Canelo. So now I'm really going to be paying attention to Canelo versus Mbili, because I do believe Canelo will beat Mbili. I just don't think stylistically Mbili can beat Canelo. But however that fight ends up, I'm telling you, man, that's the big money fight. Canelo versus Hamza. That's the money fight right there.
Yeah. That's definitely they definitely have the support of His Excellency on this one, right? Turki Al-Sheikh is definitely looking with that same eye you're looking, right? Because I think that's what the writing on the wall is for him. He wants to see Hamza and Canelo. I would argue maybe that's even part of the contract, that 4-fight deal. You know what I'm saying? That Hamza's part of that agreement. And like you said, I'm looking forward to see what him and Andy Lee put together. I don't think Alan Bejic is going to be a test. He shouldn't be a test. But then again, going into the Carlos Adames fight, Carlos Adames wasn't supposed to be a test either. I thought that he was going to run through Carlos Adames, to be honest with you. And no, Carlos Adames is a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? But I just thought Hamza was just on another level, and we saw it end up happening in that fight in spite of all the outside things that they talk about, the injuries and things of that nature. It's still, we just don't know. We don't know if Hamza's not nursing some sort of injury into this fight, right? We have no idea what he's coming into the ring with. But I love that dynamic between him and Andy Lee. That's going to be a super interesting fight on that card. On the third fight on that card, behind them, Jack Catterall, Shakram Giasov. Now, this fight has potential to be the fight of the night. This fight right here has real potential to be fight of the night here. Interesting things going on here. Jack Catterall and Bozy Ennis, we seen this, what I call Jack Catterall 2.0 in his last fight against Echo Usman, right? Brings in Bozy Ennis, and we seen this like way more active on the inside. A fighter who's looking for the stoppage, a fighter who got in there with the machine, right? They call him, is that, or the engine? What do they call Echo Usman? Is it the machine or the engine, or what his nickname is?
I think it's like the engine, Echo the engine Usman, I think is what it is, because he takes you in the back end and he just keeps going and going. And he got knocked out though, bro. All right, he got stopped.
Stop him. But we also saw Jack Catterall take some shots in that fight. We saw him get hit, and he took as much as he gave. Well, no, he gave more than he took, but he took a lot. He just gave a little bit more than he took, right? He's going to be in there with Shakram Giasov, a fighter who's been getting played around with in the welterweight division for a minute now. We know about the whole Rolly situation and his standings in that WBA conversation, that he was looking to get at a Jerron Boots Ennis. He was looking to get at the winner between Boots and Stanionis, who ended up being Boots. He was right there in that conversation. Rolly Romero picks up an elevated title. He gets a regular title, you know what I'm saying? The politics of the sport, and he gets elevated when Jerron Boots Ennis leaves, and Shakram was supposed to be right there in that conversation. This fight right here, man, I don't know, man. I'm believing that this fight may be fight of the night. What do you think?
I agree with you. And then I'm going to ask you a question about the bull crap that's happening with this whole belt. But I believe that it could either be one of two things. It'll either be fight of the night, which would be awesome, or it'll be like so tactical that it'll come down to a very close decision at the end. But either guy's going to be gun shy. Now, the only reason why I agree with you in terms of I think it would be fight of the night is, guys, not watch Giasov's amateur fights, but also watch how he knocks people out. Giasov comes to go get him. Like, he doesn't. Everybody thinks Giasov is going to be like the slick. Nah, bro. Watch how Giasov fights. He's going to go after Catterall. And when Catterall has to adjust, I think that's how Giasov's going to find out. Hey, is this guy a blown up 140 that I could just put away? Or is this guy really a 147 and I might have to keep some of my energy for the back half to win this fight? So I agree with you that this could be fight of the night. My honest opinion is whoever wins this fight is the WBA champ. My question back to you is, what do you think about this BS, bro? Because I thought Rolly being inactive would have already gotten him stripped. And now what the WBA is saying is this fight is now for the WBA regular belt.
Right.
But they're going to elevate Rolly as a super champion. I thought super champion rule was you had to have defended it X amount of times or something like that to become a super champion. How are you going to be a super champion for being inactive, bro? How are you going to, I mean, make it make sense, man.
That's PBC, WBA politics. The WBA has always had that relationship with the PBC. I don't want to be cynical, okay? And the cynical part of me wants to say, bro, it's not even worth talking about because this is sanctioning body politics that we as boxing pundits talk about all the time. People get upset at us at supporting Azufa boxing or supporting the idea of what they're bringing to the table. These are the talking points, right? And they're not hard to find. They're not far in between. They constantly happen. This main event is an argument of sanctioning body just being, where is your integrity? You know what I mean? Your contemporaries, the other titles, the other sanctioning bodies were like, okay, this is too much. We're not sanctioning this. Even they were like, I'm not doing this. Okay. There's a lot that we do. we're not doing this. We got to stand for something, or we're going to fall for anything. This is just another case of the same situation. Rolly Romero, arguably a payday of sorts, right? He is a dance partner to a big fight, to a big event, and they want to make sure that they're able to see him being one of those big fights. So in order to get him to not fall to the mandatory rule, right? Because he's been running from the real mandatories, because they're trying to line him up with either a Devin Haney big fight or a Conor Benn big fight, or they want him to be in a Ryan Garcia rematch. They don't want him to be in danger. They almost lost it this time, right? The politics Rolly he was in the fucking frying pan, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was getting hot in there over there at the PBC, trying to figure out how to maneuver this guy around. It's like, damn, there's no getting around this shit, right? Like, you know, and even Devin Haney, you know, they're trying to negotiate that deal with Devin Haney, and Turkey not being part of that conversation made it very interesting, when it was like, all right, bro, we don't want to fight Devin yet because we want to get that Saudi money for it. But if we don't fight Devin, we're going to have to fight Chakram. What are we going to do? They maneuvered it. And I got to give them props, right? Like the whole fake negotiation that was going on. And in the meantime, in the background, Chakram and Jack Catterall is being negotiated, right? And then watch when that fight got pinned out, all of a sudden, we're not doing that fight anymore, right? Whatever. The WBA and the PBC have that relationship. Each one of these promoters have those relationships. I think, like, when you think about Top Rank, you think about the WBO, right? They got a relationship with them. When you think about I don't know, the WBC is like not affiliated directly with a promoter. They're affiliated with the biggest name in the game. Whoever the face is, whoever the biggest money in the game is, that's where they want that WBC title around their waist, right? You could be independent. They don't care who. Who would you say?
No. I was going to say that with the WBC, when people are getting mad at Zuffa, and I keep telling everybody, this year in 2026, it's a trophy belt. The WBC gives out so many trophy belts, bro. Did you know that they just gave a trophy belt to Dave Allen, who lost, bro?
In a one-sided beatdown.
Belt.
In a one-sided beatdown, not even a competitive fight. You know, this is the politics, man. You know, so yeah, there's a cynical part of me when it comes to this. I watch the fights now. The belts don't hold the weight that they should hold anymore, and that's a damn shame, because we have some real great champions. You know, when you think of Shushu Carrington, or you think of an Abdullah Mason, or when you think about even a Devin Haney as a WBO champion, and, you know, the real champions, you know what I mean? The guys who we look at, we like, yes, real champions that are holding these sanctioning body belts. But then you have these Ryan Garcias, these Rolly Romeros, you know what I'm saying, that are floating around the space that, you know, do what they do, but, you know, in my opinion, a black mark on the sanctioning body's resume. You know what I'm saying? Just the way that they've put these guys into position. We're about to see something else happen between Williams and Payton and Lamont Roach with the way the WBC is handling that conversation. I mean, just when we talk about talking points, we can do this all day long when it comes to these sanctioning bodies and how corrupt they are, bro. It is what it is, man.
And again, we talk about this, guys, because it is frustrating for us to see someone like Rohan Polanco, who's now 17-0. He's worked his ass off, and they're doing shit like, hey, Rolly hasn't fought in hella long, but we're going to make him a super champion. Rohan, on the other hand, keeps doing things right. They keep dropping him in the rankings, bro. How are you dropping in the rankings if no one is beating you, man? Like, none of this makes sense to me. Shout out to Coach Hector Bermudez, who gifted one of you guys a membership. But man, Clay, this is why, again, hate on us for being the first to keep telling you guys that Zuffa is the future. Hate on us in 2026 because we done told you Zuffa's the future, and you're really gonna hate us in 2027 when Zuffa is the future. And Rohan,
well, when the future becomes when Zuffa becomes the present, right?
Yes,
when the
present.
Conversation. When it changes from he's the future to the present. But yeah, it's the talking points, man. It's there, and it's not, you know, stop giving us the talking points. How about that? Stop getting mad at us about talking on these points and stop giving it to us. How about move? We'll see, right? We'll see as the year goes on, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with these sanctioning bodies, because I'm hearing good things as well in the background, especially when it comes to the WBO. I'm hearing good things about how they are going to try to tighten up their things, even on how they're going to play with the sanctioning fees, that how they want to actually deal with the sanctioning fees. I think is a very interesting point to be taken, because there is an argument there to say that that whole entire system being attached to purses is
whack.
Yeah, it's just a way to be corrupt. It's just a way to be corrupt. When the more money the fighter makes, the more money you make, then so you have incentive then to only want the biggest fighters, the biggest purses, and the biggest stars to hold the belt. No incentive to give it Rohan Polanco, who's not shaking up the algorithm, or you know what I'm saying, going to be headlining a pay-per-view, not give him his opportunity because of his purses. It is what it is.
Right. And I was gonna say, like months ago, remember I was telling you Gustavo is the smartest one out of all of them. He's playing ball. And the thing about the sanctioning bodies again is they don't have to agree with everything that Zuffa's doing, but what Zuffa's gonna do is under a UBO banner once the Revival Act happens. So the sanctioning belts will still be around. And that's why they keep saying, for you guys who want to play that game, do it. Yay! Because I keep trying to tell everybody there is no monopoly if Zuffa can only sign 250 people. Right? Like there cannot be a monopoly. So the WBO is going to play ball, Clay. They like the idea of no more interims or any other belts. They like that one belt per division. They don't want to deal with any of this other crap. With the WBO playing ball and Gustavo being the young lawyer guy, you're going to start to see everybody else kind of go, hey, man, the WBO's starting to become a prominent name. Now the Paramount Plus is showing them and Netflix is showing them. Maybe we should do what the WBO is doing, which is why my final thing on this to land my plane is shout out to the King, Devin Haney. Can't wait till you make your announcement.
No, I thought he was going to make the announcement today, but I heard he didn't say too much.
No, not yet, Clay.
Yeah,
not yet. The one thing I'll tell you is there'll be an announcement soon, and I can say this now, even though I've known about this for a bit. But if Keith Connolly's saying it, then I can say it. So, or I don't want to say Keith Connolly. Sorry, my bad. I mean, Dan Raphael, per sources.
Sources. Shout out to my dog James side. Sources. Sources.
So it's not so you guys don't bust me out like, oh man, Angelo was talking about this. Like, other people were talking about it before I opened my mouth. But I've known about it for a while. So New York City, get ready for Zuffa Boxing, July 26th. Edgar Berlanga, Richardson Hitchens, Derevchenko, the Keith Connolly show is coming into town. And for you East Coasters, you're going to love what Zuffa Boxing brings to the table.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see all these things come together, man. It is what it is. But Jack Catterall, Shakram Giza, I think is going to be one of the more technical, competitive fights on that card, man. Definitely hopefully I get to call that fight. I don't know what I got going on yet to know if I'll be able to call it in the daytime. Crossing my fingers on that one. Another fight on that card in the heavyweight division. We're going to see Frank Sanchez and Richard Torres figure out their differences here. This one's going to be, is this going to be an eliminator or not?
Not only is it an eliminator, but it's possible. Again, the IBF has kind of already said they're talking about just stripping Usyk. So this eliminator could be set up for the vacant. So it's 100% an eliminator. But I saw the face-off today, Clay, and when you're talking fight of the night, this could be one of them.
Facts.
This Torres Sanchez, because the way Sanchez, I didn't realize that Sanchez is actually filled out. Like he's every bit as big, if not bigger, than Richard Torres.
Right.
And is he about it, man?
Is he fully rehabilitated? People haven't taken that into consideration. This is one of those excuses versus reasons, right? Like no excuses, but the reasons. Frank Sanchez, we might not have seen Frank Sanchez in years now, right? Like the Frank Sanchez we've been seeing, this could be like a very rehabilitated return of a Frank Sanchez who at one point or another was the future of the division. When we're talking about Frank Sanchez, right? So,
And if you really think about it, when it comes to the heavyweight division, the goal is you want to make as much money as you can. But let's not forget, even in the PBC era of things, at one point, Bermain Stavern was the champ from Haiti.
Right.
It took Deontay having to beat Stavern in order to become the champ, right? So when's the last time we had a Cuban heavyweight champion, right? The only real name you always say is Luis Ortiz, bro, because, you know, he's 205 years old.
At least.
All right. So Frank Sanchez beats this guy. Now you got an IBF vacancy happening. Bro, Frank Sanchez, Daniel Dubois, Frank Sanchez, Moses Itama. I mean, sky's the limit for Frank Sanchez at this point. If Frank Sanchez could do it, right? I mean, Frank Sanchez, Jared Anderson, right? Like, there's so many ways for Frank Sanchez to really make money. I don't think this is one of those, I'm a heavyweight, but I'll not try as hard against Richard Torres so he can have the lane. I think Frank Sanchez is trying to upset the apple cart. So take a look at whatever that plus money is, guys, and seriously consider it.
Yeah, and then there's Richard Torres, right? Who's a fighter who's, you know, for me personally, I'm on the fence with him, right? He's a guy who I always see the pedigree. Every time I see him, I say, there's that pedigree. But he's a guy who I've also said, is he just too small for the division? He's just not a heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? But he brings that pedigree, and he's been in those conversations, in the same conversation as a Jared Anderson, like you said, right? As a one of those young guys in the American boxing space. And where do we put Richard Torres, especially as he gets closer and closer and closer to the promised land of fighting maybe a Moses Itama or fighting a, you know, he's getting ready to be an international guy. He's ready, supposedly, when you hear him being interviewed, he's like, I'm ready for the big show. I'm not as convinced as he is. I don't think you are. Maybe a lot of people aren't, but I'm ready to get that question answered, right?
Look, can we give you credit, Richard, that you're working with a top-notch team in Bomac? Like, at least I can give you that much. Like, hey, you're surrounding yourself with the right people. The question is, can your talent meet your education? Right? Because we watched you get knocked out by Jalalov. Me and Clay just watched Jalalov 2 weeks ago. He didn't look too shabby, Clay. Not too shabby, right? Like,
he didn't look shabby, but interestingly enough, I want to say about the Jalalov real quick, just to say that Jalalov hasn't shown. He was way more dominant in the amateurs. In the professional career, it's like, where is Jalalov? It's still that question. Where in the world is whatever his first name is, Jalalov? That's us exposing my age again, because I seen you laugh. So you know exactly why I said that. But you know what I'm saying? That's what Jalalov has been. So Richard Torres, kind of, I think people who don't know would probably rate Richard Torres higher than Jalalov, right? Who don't know, because of how quiet Jalalov has been in the division in comparison to, you know, where Richard Torres has been propped up to be. This is going to be a litmus test, though. Frank Sanchez is going to be a real litmus test for Richard Torres. Really.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting when I was naming off names on why this is such an important IBF eliminator is, here's Richard Torres. Let's say he beats Frank Sanchez, however ugly ends up becoming, because it's not like it was a pretty win when Richard Torres best win in Richard Torres' whole career right now at 14-0 is Guido Vianello, who's also an Olympian for Italy, right? And Guido beat Makhmudov and blah 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 blah. So okay, I'll give you that best win, although that was not a pretty look. But whatever. Maybe Bomax cleaned you up, and now you're gonna look a lot more like a southpaw, you know, Frazier. We'll see. We'll see what Bomac does with you and the rest of that team. But let's say, Clay, he wins. Let's say the IBF is vacant. Why not Jalalov versus Richard Torres for a vacant IBF now, right? Rematch from their amateur days. Richard Torres wants to avenge his loss of getting knocked out by Jalalov. They're both with top rank. That could work, except for this, Clay, and this is why I do not rate Richard Torres above Jalalov. They will never do it, bro, because they know that Richard Torres is limited and that Jalalov has his number. And that's the style that will beat Richard Torres. So when Richard Torres keeps asking for Moses Itama, stop doing that, bro. Stop it.
Well,
you will get destroyed.
Stop. Well, win or loss with Richard Torres, as far as who he is payday also, right? So it's about the biggest fights. One might say the writing is on the wall for Richard Torres, that he eventually will, is not looking too good for him in that top 10 conversation. The top 10 heavyweights is going to be up. To say it's an uphill battle for Richard Torres may be an understatement, right? I mean, but they're looking to capitalize off of what they've invested in him. They want to make something out of him. Like, well, let's get something out of him. So am I going to put him in front of a Jarlov who brings no interest and no money to the table in real time? Hell no, bro, because Jarlov will derail a Richard Torres. I mean, maybe Richard Torres has made the improvements. Maybe the experience has worked well. Maybe the Jarlov experience has changed Richard Torres. Maybe that fight was the fight that made Richard Torres make those adjustments and why he's been looking how he's been looking in the heavyweight division. He's been getting those wins. He's an undefeated professional fighter. We don't know, right? But do I gamble? Do I throw the dice? Do I throw Richard Torres back in there with Jarlov? Hell no, I don't do it. I try to get him in there with Moses Atama. I try to get him in there with the future of the division. So when he does take his L, it's against somebody who's going to be a champion for a long time, somebody who looks good on his resume, where we're saying he took a loss, but he took a loss against the future undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He took a loss against the best of the best. He didn't take a loss over somebody who's just been looking vanilla, you know what I'm saying, in his professional career, who just hasn't been able to pull the trigger like he did when he was an amateur. We don't know why. Maybe I don't know, right? But no, we don't throw him back in there with Jarlov. Who do you got winning the fight, though? Between Frank Sanchez.
What can you do me a favor and just look at the odds real quick? Because I want to tell everybody what's the DraftKings odds or the FanDuel odds of Frank Sanchez versus Richard Torres. Because there's too many questions, guys. And we appreciate everybody on the chat, by the way. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share it. We're growing fast. So please keep sharing it. Everybody's starting to see that ATP means come on over and listen to some facts. But yeah, man, Richard Torres, I have faith in Bomac as a team setting for coaching. So I think his conditioning should be on point. I just don't know if Bomac was able to convince Richard Torres of the gifts that he has to use and the non-gifts that he does not have in a heavyweight fight. Frank Sanchez, as you know, has an amateur pedigree. He knows how to box. And really, man, when we think about that Agit Kabayel fight, Clay, we always talk about the knee. And that's Agit Kabayel, bro. That's Kabayel that we're talking about. Are we ready to say that Richard Torres can push Frank Sanchez the way Kabayel did? I'm not ready. I'm not ready to say that. So if this is a healthy version of Richard Torres, of Frank Sanchez, no knee injury, he can actually move. Let's keep in mind he's bigger, right?
He's also older.
Bigger. Come on, man. Like, are we going to start calling 33 old, bro?
Is he 33 or is he 49?
Yeah,
How old is he?
Bro. That's just the
How old
Cuban
is he?
thing
Cuban,
again.
bro. How old is he, bro? I don't see him on here. I don't see him on my FanDuel. I don't see him trying to.
Oh, they don't have it on FanDuel yet?
No,
all right.
No.
Well, hey, chat, tell us what the odds are for if the odds are like plus 350, plus 300 against Frank Sanchez, I'm picking Frank Sanchez all the way.
All right, but forget about the odds, right? I'm just saying fighter versus fighter. Who are you leaning towards winning this fight, right? I'm not talking about where somebody should put their bets. I'm saying who wins this fight.
50-50 only because Team Bomac is with Richard Torres. If it wasn't for
I was
that,
bring it up. Right.
Yeah. If it wasn't for that, bro, I have Frank Sanchez washing him.
So by the way, Bomac's going to be in the building. So will Bomac be in Jack Catterall's corner or not?
I thought no, Bozy's with Catterall.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, Bozy, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you're messing up, bro, because Crawford is there. So Bomac is there.
I'm cognitively not all the way here, bro. I still need some sleep, bro. I've had a very long day and I've got some sleep, but yeah. But it is what it is.
No, Joseph Jackson, stop, man. Show me the birth certificate.
I still wonder if Bomac is going to be there, though, because
Bozy. You're saying if Bozy's
going to be there. Sorry.
Right.
The reason I am because I've been doing a lot of research on it, and it's like Bozy's still listed as Jack Catterall's trainer. It's just that this particular camp, it looks like Jack Catterall wasn't with Bozy because Jack Catterall wanted to be in the UK near his family, and didn't want. I don't know. The story is no, they're not done with each other, but we don't know. If Bozy's going to be in the corner.
It could be just like what you were saying in the beginning, man. Why is it not okay for fighters to go with wherever they're going to feel the most comfortable? Because Bozy's son is Jaron Ennis, and he's not going to pick anyone against his son, right? Like, so he wasn't going to leave Philly, and this is the biggest fight
he's getting his son ready.
In Boots' career.
Right.
Yeah, man, no. And like all the other fighters got to take a back seat, and if that makes you feel bad, how's that different than Jose Benavidez? What was the rumor that Benavidez Sr. lost with Pacheco because blah blah? Like, hey man.
But I don't know. I'm not. What I'm hearing is there is no bad blood, just an understanding. Right? It's more of a fair enough. More of a I'm going to let you focus on the biggest fight that you've been working on, the biggest product, which is your son that you birthed and raised, and finally he gets his opportunity. Jack Catterall may be saying, I 100% respect it. I 100% respect it. I'll go take care of what I got to take care of in Egypt, and we'll get back to it. Good luck. Right. I'll be looking forward to see your son win. Or is it a split, right? Is it I don't know. Time will tell, right?
I mean, even if it's a split, then who cares, right? Like, you know, like at the end of the day, man, I saw T.O. training in the UK 2 weeks ago. You know, he's trying to figure out where he might want to train for his next fight.
He needs to make a decision because T.O., because I know you watch the show. Hey, bro, put your father in the front seat. Get him some front seat tickets. Get him that you know what I mean? Get him close to your corner. But you need a trainer, bro. T.O. needs a trainer, bro.
Well, look at what Brian Norman just showed us.
Yes.
How much better Brian Norman looked, right?
He needs to make those adjustments.
Nothing but love for T.O., man. Nothing but love for T.O. We want to see you successful. Can't wait to hear your Zuffa announcement and who you'll be fighting next. Let's lock it in, Cambosos. Come on, man. How much money is too much money? How much money is too much money? Right? So oh, by the way, Clay, so International Fight Week, I forgot to mention that too. So in July, there's 2 Zuffa shows. The July 12th show, which is right after McGregor Holloway. Woohoo! McGregor Holloway. July 11th on Sunday is actually going to be now at the Cosmopolitan here at the Chelsea. So where they're doing De Los Santos Rayo, they're going to do it on July 12th also. I've been telling you it's a Jaya Pataya card, man, but we'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong. You know, I've been telling you that for a month. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the building, man. 50 plus people in the building. Hit the like button. If you haven't done it, do that now. Hit the like button right now. Yes, you hit the like button. Stop thinking about it. Hit the like button. Don't say you're gonna do it before you leave. Do it now. There's a moment for you to do it right now. Hit the like button right now. Why not now? Why later? Why even have to remember later when you can do it now? Hit the damn like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I'm going to put the link out there right now. Go ahead and put that link out there while you guys are figuring out if you want to come up or not. I do want to talk about Keshawn Davis a little bit, man. Keshawn Davis getting hell out here in these streets, man. They are mad at Keshawn. They big mad at Keshawn. You know, Keshawn is just a very vocal fighter who's talked about fighting the best in the game, right? You know, he had an interview recently, a great interview, by the way. I'm trying to remember the guy. Let me pull it up so I can give him his flowers.
Yeah, if you pull it up, that would be great. That would be awesome.
But Keshawn talking about his journey, you know what I'm saying? And it was a very honest, I thought it was one of the best interviews I've seen Keshawn Davis be in, because he really spoke from the heart. And I think when you get those right interviewers where the fighter, you know, when you watch those interviews where the fighter just puts his guard down and just speaks, you know, not
from the heart. Yeah,
from the heart, not so much media trained.
Right.
Hold on a second. Keshawn Davis interview. Let me find it. I was watching the interview actually this morning as a early, you know, when I'm driving. It's the guy's name is It's Up There podcast. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it right now.
Can we show some of it?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see this, so I'd love to just see some of it.
I'm literally gonna put it up right now. All right, drama, missing. Is this it? I think this is it right here. Share.
I do fashion.
Let that commercial play real quick here. 1 second. Akeem, I see you. Give me a second, brother. I got you, man. 1 second.
Got you.
All right, this is the interview right here.
Use this eagerness against you. The fact that he always want to fight, he always willing to fight. You gotta, because here's the thing: people think you're a hothead. People think you're emotionally unstable, but you're not. In that situation, should be a calling card to that, showing you though, when I had everything stripped from me, I still came in there head high, respected the sport, respected the business, gave my title back, knowing I was being set up by a guy trying to get another fight. Take me through the process of you going away. Like what happened? Were you depressed? What were you feeling?
Hell yeah, I was all that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was all that. I remember texting my brothers after that whole night and stuff. It was probably like the week after. I was like, man, I wish I wasn't me anymore. Like, I don't really want to be here for real. I just want to disappear. Because even when I was in that limelight, and sometimes I still feel it to this day. Like, I like fighting, bro. I don't like all that extra shit. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, you know what I mean? So when that had happened, I'm like, bro, I don't even want to do this shit for real anyways. Because I don't like all that extra stuff that come with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was definitely I was all that. Like, people had to pick me up off the ground. Like, man, nah, they want to see you like this. Like, nah. And then, like, honestly, like, as time went on, I just had to get closer to my God, bro.
Yes.
I'm Jesus Christ, you know, I'm a strong believer.
Right. I'm not gonna play the whole interview. I'm telling you guys, this is an interview you should catch. It was a really good interview. Shout out to what's his name? I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can find his name here in the what's his name here? Big Loon. It's Up There podcast. Man, every now and then you get one of those interviews. You know what this interview is equivalent to? Joe Rogan and Shakur Stevenson. And Joe Rogan and Terrence Crawford. I don't know if you guys watch those interviews.
Hey, man, that's high praise, bro. That's high praise.
It was good because it was somebody who got on Keyshawn's level, who understood Keyshawn, and Keyshawn really let his guard down and spoke, really was very transparent about a lot of things. And it's an interview that I'm a fan of Keshawn Davis. This interview made me more of a fan. I just like the kid, bro. With all his flaws, with all his blemishes, with all his issues, I'm still rooting for him. I still think he's the truth. I think he's still finding himself, but I salute the journey because he's finding himself, if that makes any sense, right? He hasn't found himself, but he's finding himself. He knows, he's honest about his journey. He's honest about it. And I think he's going to do great things. Is this interview,
Clay, after the fight? This was an interview after the fight?
Right before the fight. Right before the fight. Okay. So it drops after the fight. This is right before the fight. And, you know, just something about Keshawn Davis, man, that I'm a fan of, man. I hope he just continues to be strong, bro, mentally. I know I won't be shocked if I see him fuck up again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a hard life. It's a hard world that he lives in. But he stated that interview he has no more chances. He knows that. He acknowledged it, right? He's like, I messed up bad, bro. I blew that weight. He was like, I don't got no more chances. Can't afford to fall down again. I have to stay focused. I have to stay on point. You know what I'm saying? I can't afford to fall down. So it is what it is. Akeem, Blake in the building. Akeem, what's good with you, family?
Yo, peace to you guys. Peace, man, and peace to the chat, man. Yo, I don't mind watching fights this weekend. A lot of people are complaining like doesn't jump out, but yo, I just gotta say this, and Wifey had to double down. I got a text from Wifey. I've never seen you watch so much boxing ever in life. Like, when did this start? And then I seen something on YouTube. It's like boxing is at a good space. Like, we're getting a lot of boxing, you know, opposed to what we were getting prior or in the last however years. Like, there's literally a fight like every other weekend. You know, so with that said, like, man, I hope Usyk knocks this dude out so we can stop playing these games. Let's put boxes with boxes. kickboxers with kickboxers. I respect dude, but I don't think Usyk would have took the fight if he didn't think he could do it. You
Well,
know?
I mean, Usyk didn't take the Tyson Fury fight thinking he couldn't do it. He didn't take the Anthony Joshua fights thinking he couldn't do it. He didn't fight Daniel Dubois twice thinking he couldn't do it. And I say that just to say that I doubt Usyk is in fights thinking he can't win. But I do think, listen, I am a supporter of Usyk in this fight. Why? Because he's given us so much in the heavyweight division. He's been a guy who's turned down no smoke, and he's a road warrior, right? He doesn't get the home. He doesn't get a chance to get a fight in Ukraine, right? He has too much going on. He's always on the road. So he's done this in his career, becoming undisputed in the cruiserweight division, becoming undisputed in the heavyweight division, fighting Tyson Fury twice, fighting Anthony Joshua twice, fighting Daniel Dubois twice, fighting Derek Chisora, fighting these fighters. Yeah, he's at the end of his career, bro. He deserves a payday. He deserves a spectacle. You know what I'm saying?
True,
You know what I mean?
but when you say that, you see when you say payday and spectacle, I already know what time it is. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, everybody, put your money on Usyk, because you know what's going down. Like, when I hear that.
Yeah, you're right, bro. You know, this is one of those fights where I'm okay with it. You know, what I'm not okay with in this fight, if there's anything I'm not okay with in this fight, is the position of the WBC. I'm tired of that, right? I wish the WBC would stand on some business and say, thank you, Usyk. You've been a great champion. You've done great things. We're always going to celebrate you. You're going in the Hall of Fame, one of the best champions we've ever had. But no, our belt is not involved in this. You know what I'm saying?
That's nasty work, man. It's nasty work with the WBC. Like, I don't. It's gonna get better. Like, if the WBO is behind this fight, it makes money, man. Enough money makes sense. Like,
100%.
At some point, like they gotta capitulate to these things that's going on. That Torres Sanchez fight, I got Sanchez, man. Like, every time I watch a dude with a bad leg or just came off surgery, like Jose Benavidez, even Prograde that just fought. Like, bro, if your foot don't work or there's something going on with your foot, like, movement, like even just fainting, doing things like that, take a lot out of a person that's in top shape. Like, so now that whole leg situation, I don't like that. Like, he gonna fight to the death, but Sanchez.
I wonder. I don't know if he's coming into the ring with Eddie Reynoso. Is Frank Sanchez still working with Eddie Reynoso? Do we know? Is he still with him?
I don't know.
Because that's who he was with. That's the last trainer I remember him being with. So I don't know if he's still with Eddie Reynoso. So wait, are you saying you're hearing that Richard Torres is hurt?
Yeah, and then on top of that, like, just because he's with Bomac, like, he's not Crawford. He's not Shakur. He's not a dude that fought in Billy, Lester Martinez. Like, we can't just, that works for Robert Garcia.
Well, I'll say this. No, he's not Terrence Crawford, any of those guys, but he is in the heavyweight division. Would you consider Richard Torres an athletic heavyweight fighter, like one of the athletic guys, one of the guys who, in comparison to his contemporaries, right? So he also has an aptitude, right? He has an IQ. He has an amateur background and he has an IQ, so he can soak up that Bomac tutelage, right? There's things that Bomac, I'm sure, is able to. I think it'll be a difference maker, is what I'm saying. I think that Bomac will make a difference for Richard Torres in his heavyweight career, and in particular, this fight. I did not know there was an injury. I think that's a very dangerous place for Richard Torres to be in there and going inside the ring with an injury, because what he brings is his athleticism, his movement. That's what kind of separates him from the in the heavyweight division conversation. I don't know how bad that is. You're bringing that to light. I don't know. that kind of does make a difference, especially if Frank Sanchez is on his A game, if he's rehabilitated 100% and back on his A game. My guy Ryan from the 6.
What up? What up? What up?
66666. What's good, family?
We in the building. We in the building, man. How you guys doing?
No,
What's up, Ryan?
Good, chilling, Ryan.
Reyes, Akeem, salute.
Yo, Ryan, shout out to my Knicks. Stop playing.
Oh yeah, hey, shout out to your Knicks, Akeem. Hey, Akeem, right? Hey, Akeem,
Ryan did not come up here for all of that. He did not come up here for all of that.
Hey, Akeem, real quick, shout out, because Ryan's in here from Canada. So shout out to my Vegas Golden Knights, y'all.
Damn.
Look at that.
Warner, bro.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, Ryan, on behalf of the channel, I apologize. All the views that are being expressed here do not necessarily represent the visit of the channel. I don't get my guy up here like that, and y'all just coming at him like this. I hope this doesn't take away his motivation to come back up again. You guys is diabolical and out of line, bro. Ryan,
hell no.
Salute.
You already know, man.
I knew I didn't want to hit that damn link. This motherfucker Clay, bro. I swear I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it, bro. These people are diabolical.
Right?
Nah. It's good, Akeem. Salute to everybody, man. Yo, we got a good weekend.
Chilling,
I mean, it's not exciting boxing. It's not, big names, but I think like the fights with Jack Catterall and Shaq and Giza, those are meaningful fights for 147. That moves the division along. Obviously, they're gonna fight Rolly, so that makes Rolly got to come out of whatever he's talking about, retirement with Adrian Brown. He said he's going in retirement. And then you got Sanchez like right here and Torres, man. Like shout out to Torres, man. But like if he's injured, I'm worried about him. But I want him to win so that American heavyweights can get excited about something. America can get excited about something. Because when you got a heavyweight who's an American doing well, the whole sport's doing well, man. It seems to bring the casuals. So I think I'm rooting for Richard, but if he's hurt, man, that's not a good look, man. And I'm hoping he's not, bro, because he's with Bomac now. So I want to see him in this new camp. He's been training with Jared Anderson too, so you got to understand they've been pushing each other. So man, it's just if he's injured, I hope that it's not a big injury.
I hope that's not the case. Hope it's not a big injury, man. I just hate.
I don't know. I didn't hear about it.
Stuff
do some research in it. And I know Akeem, if he's saying it, I know he's read it somewhere that, what I'm saying, there's probably some legitimacy to it. How bad is the injury, especially if it's a knee injury, if that's what it is? Ouch. You know what I'm saying? His mobility is something that he's always leaned on, his ability to get in and out of trouble,
right,
and turn and, what I'm saying, work his angles against a very crafty, skilled Cuban, pedigreed fighter like Frank Sanchez could end up, being snake eyes for him in the fight, man. I don't know what Frank Sanchez is either, because he also has history of some knee injuries and leg injuries that he's nursed.
Yeah, man.
Do you know if he's walking in there with Eddie Reynoso or not? Do you know if that's still his trainer?
Oh, Frank Sanchez? I think so, man. I haven't heard anything different. I haven't heard him going anywhere else. So I think he's still with Eddie Reynoso. And bro, I got a soft spot for Richard Torres Jr. because him and my dad fought senior. Richard Torres' dad in the amateurs. Yeah, bro. So when my brother was fighting in the amateurs, he came up through that class with Torres and Tiger Johnson and Izzy Aldham. They were at a tournament, and my dad told Torres Jr. that, like, yo, I fought your dad. They took a picture together, and his dad was like, yo, that's Dwight Frazier. So, like, it's small world in the boxing community, bro. So I'm rooting for Richard because of that, bro. Like, he's obviously he's from the western side of the world. We need a world champion over here in the heavyweight division, man.
I hear that. What about this? Like Clay, like what you were saying with the Jack Catterall situation. I respect that. And if he told Bozy, like, yo, train your son, get dialed in, I'll take care of dude over here. If that's how he's moving, whew, yo, y'all got Jack Catterall messed up.
Hey, I wanna listen, for my research here is not Richard Torres that was dealing with injuries. It was Frank Sanchez.
Sanchez.
It was Sanchez, and it was because they were supposed to. Frank Sanchez was supposed to be in an eliminator with Daniel Dubois, right? And he ended up not being able to do that. For a lot of people thought that it was Daniel Dubois you know what I'm saying, who fell out of that situation. And it seems like it was Frank Sanchez who was dealing with inflammation in a surgically repaired right knee, not Torres. So in fact, latest schedule info still has that Torres is attached to a rescheduled Sanchez fight targeted for late May in Egypt, which suggests Team Torres is moving forward normally. Yeah, this is about Frank Sanchez.
So Torres about to use all his athleticism and put the beats on him.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to fight earlier in the year. That's what happened. Yeah, the fight got postponed. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Right. Ryan, you have it absolutely right. They were supposed to headline earlier this year for this. It was supposed to be in Vegas. It was going to be an IBF eliminator, and then Sanchez re-injured or whatever, and then they pushed it to this date, right? So that's why I still say, and respectfully, 50-50, man. It took a lot from Caballel even 2 years ago when Frank Sanchez originally showed that knee injury. And in that fight, it took everything from Caballel to be crafty enough to do what he did to Frank Sanchez. At 14-0, I respectfully don't think Richard Torres has the Caballel IQ like that. He's talked about using that game plan, but I need to see it, Richard. I need to see you be able to do what Caballel is doing.
I don't know, man. I think strengths is strengths, and Caballel is not I think there's an argument there. Who is the better boxer, Richard Torres or Ajit Caballel, right? Like, because Ajit Caballel is a better fighter all around because of that intangible, that body work. He knows how to attack that body work. And it's an intangible that takes time, right? The way Ajit Caballel fights, he's not built to get you out of there in a round. He's built to break you down and take you down in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, those championship rounds is when it's going to be. So I don't think he had a hard time with Frank Sanchez. I just think the way he approaches the sport, it takes time for him to put guys away. I think Richard Torres is going to be a way more cerebral fighter in that ring with Frank Sanchez than Ajit Caballel was. I think Frank Sanchez was just fighting an inconvenient truth, right? Like, damn it, this dude keeps hitting me to my body. I fucking hate this. Now it's round 6, 7, and I can't take no more. I got to take a knee. I can't move. Richard Torres, this is going to be more of a boxing match. What do you guys think? Am I crazy about as far as who's the better boxer? Would you guys consider Richard Torres the better boxer than Ajit Caballel?
Well, one is going to be the better boxer. If he has that inflammation in his knee, he's not moving around a lot. So one is going to be a better boxer for sure. We just got to see now.
What I'm saying is I think there's an argument there to say that Frank Sanchez is the better boxer than Richard Torres, right? That if Frank Sanchez was the younger, healthier, no inflammation in his knee, this would be a fucking uphill battle for Richard Torres. If Frank is really got a pedigree about him. But I'm talking about between Ajit Caballel and Richard Torres. Ryan, what do you think? Because I know you're pushing for Richard Torres and you know him a little bit more intimately. So
I don't know if he's the better boxer, to be honest, than Ajit Caballel. I think Ajit approaches his work like a surgeon, bro. Like he know what he gonna do from 1 to 3 and 3 to 6. They got a game plan on how they're gonna approach a fight, and we saw it in the Zhang fight too. Like he got knocked down, I think, in that fight twice.
Yep.
He didn't revert from the game plan. Like the game plan stood the same, and we saw what we saw, man. Zhang gassed out and he got stopped to the body too. So I think Ajit stays to his work, man. Torres, I haven't seen him in an adversity situation to where he's gonna still stick to his game plan. I think guys mentally, some guys get broken when things aren't going right. We see them go rogue, man. They go away from whatever they were doing. And sometimes you need to do that. There needs to be a game plan part 2, where you go to. But we haven't seen Richard in that situation yet. And Frank Sanchez has been in that situation. So he may have learned from the Ajit fight. That might make him, more experienced than he already is. Where Richard, like you said, he got to use his youth. I think that's where his biggest advantage is, making this fight fast, early. So Frank Sanchez can get caught in the mud. That's what he's got to do.
Yeah, Richard Torres is one of those fighters. I was watching something the other day. It was like, I don't know if it was Bruce Lee or who it was who said, he's more fearful of a guy who's a master of one thing than just, just good at everything, right? Richard Torres is somebody who's just like all around good, but Ajit Caballel is good at his thing. He's Superman at his thing. And Richard Torres is more like on multiple levels, so he can be competitive on multiple different levels. But Ajit is that guy who's focused in on his discipline, and that thing he does, he's the best at it. He's the body snatcher. You know what I mean?
Hey, no, I was just gonna say, hey, Keem, when you're not talking, can you mute, bro? Can you just put mute, bro? Just because of the background noise. Yeah, and then the other thing is,
hold on. So okay, good. He got it. Go. I was gonna tell him not to.
Then to answer Clay's question, I 100% agree with you, Ryan. That I think that, and you know, this is what I do, Clay. So Agit Kabayel's got over 100 fights. He's one of the best national boxers in the amateurs coming out of Germany, right? I'm trying to think if the reason why he didn't go for the Olympic team is because he wanted to turn pro earlier in his career. And at the end of the day, if you watch a lot of his earlier fights, even with Chisora, but like to Ryan's point, in the Zhang fight, you could tell that there's a cerebral approach to his game. I have not seen Richard Torres show me a cerebral approach to any of his game. All I ever see him do is out-athleticize someone. And when he doesn't out-athleticize someone, he got knocked out. That's what happens when you fight a Jalalov, right? And I consider that a loss, Clay. I don't care what people say, heavyweight boxing. If you got knocked out and got stretchered out in the amateurs, bro, that's your loss. You got one L. You got to either avenge the L or figure it out, man. But nah, bro. I mean, that's why I keep saying, even with Frank Sanchez being 33/49, according to Clay, with the knee injury,
I didn't make it. That's the Cuban rules, bro. I'm not going to do the with you, Angelo. It's not me. It's not me, bro. It's what these Cubans do. Shout out to my guy Joseph Jackson in the building, man, who said he was 49. That's really where I got it from. But you already know that guy ain't 33, bro. You see it on his face, bro. That's
he ain't
Uncle
33,
Frank, bro. That's Uncle Frank, bro. You already know who that guy is. Shout out to Uncle Frank for still competing out here with these young bucks. My bad, Angelo. Go ahead, bro. You gotta give
I'm just saying, like Uncle Frank knows how to be crafty. Uncle Frank will know little pockets of making Richard Torres look bad, and all he has to do is steal rounds. If he steals rounds here, steals rounds there, next thing you know, man, he's up on the scorecard. So really the question still is, for me, has Team Bomac gotten Richard Torres to be able to be truthful with himself, Clay? Because the one thing you're not, Richard Torres, is Moses Itama. You don't got that skill set. That ain't you. So can you take the skill set that you do have and have Bomac as team hide your insufficiencies and enhance all of your tools? That's what I want to see. I want to see. And Frank Sanchez is the safest you're going to get, because everyone else is going to be much harder than Frank Sanchez.
Facts. Hey, man, he can have a Moses Itama moment, bro. You never know, bro. He puts his shit together, man. Richard Torres just needs to be branded. This fight is a litmus test for Richard Torres. Brand yourself in this fight. We don't know who the hell you are, right? Like I don't know who you are, bro. I've watched you fight multiple times. I probably watched your last 5 fights. Like I don't think I've missed a Richard Torres fight since I haven't missed a fight of yours. But you get these victories, but who is Richard Torres? I know who Agit Kabayel is. I know who Moses Itama is. I even kind of know who Jared Anderson is. I don't know who Richard Torres is. And this fight right here is going to be barbecue and mildew for him, man. This is the big one for him, man. This is the big one. Guys, what about this Shakram Giasov versus Jack Catterall fight? First of all, let's go back to Jack Catterall and Echo Usman in that fight. That's a fight I started calling him Jack Catterall 2.0, right? That's when I started calling him 2.0. This re-energized Jack Catterall who brings this inside game and will stop you. What did you guys think about that fight? What do you think about the addition of Bozy Ennis at that time to his camp? Did that make a big difference? Do you think Jack Catterall is just back, or do you still need to see more? Anybody?
I gotta see more. You know, I like Echo Usman, but didn't he just he got knocked out, didn't he, like a couple weekends ago?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he got stopped by Jack Rafferty, Ryan.
Yes, that's who it was. Yeah, Dubois and Ward the undercard. Yeah, so I was like, damn, man, maybe Josh Taylor was just that washed at the time Echo Usman beat him. Cause I mean, I thought Jack Catterall beat Josh Taylor the first fight, and just didn't get the nod. But it is what it is. Jack Catterall looks good at 47, man. He definitely looks much stronger at the weight. Obviously, he showed it in the fight. And this is his second camp. Well, I guess he's not with Bozy for this camp, so we'll have to see what comes from that. He's back home. Maybe he'll be more comfortable. But I think Shakram Giesov's a good fighter, crafty fighter. It's just he hasn't had the opposition like Jack Catterall has had. He's been in their ring with former champions. Obviously Josh Taylor twice, Arnold Barboza. So like those are guys who are top contenders. I don't know if Shakram Giesov has a top contender on his resume. So for him, this is a huge step up for Giesov. It kind of sucks for Giesov because he should be fighting Rolly for the full belt. But Rolly suckered himself out by getting in a negotiation with Devin Haney. So Eddie Hearn had to move on, man. And now look, both of his guys got to fight each other. Somebody got to knock each other off. So for Eddie, at least he's gonna get him one of his guys in a Rolly fight. That's a good thing out of this. But I think Jack Catterall should win, man, just based off experience and what he's done in the ring and his upside. He should win. But Shakram Giesov, he got that motivation. I remember his win after, I think it was the Stanionis and Boots fight where he said that he's fighting for his daughter, his deceased daughter who passed away. And he wants the belt for her. So, I mean, he got something to get up for every morning and go run. Like, he's motivated. And I think those type of stories in boxing, sometimes those are the best stories to see. When, like Caleb Plant, he did the same thing, man. And we were all like, that was great. He brought the IBF title to his daughter's grave. Like, that type of stuff is what makes boxing a special sport, man. Like, anybody can get to the top. So, if Giesov could do all that, that'd be awesome. But Jack Catterall ain't going to be no easy customer, man.
I agree.
No, I was. Oh, hold on, Nakeem. Hey, Clay, I put on the private chat a video of Jack Catterall himself speaking about his split with Bozy. If you want to check it out, go ahead, Akeem. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's a piggyback off of that. The conversation that he had with Bozy, it just sounds like he's grabbing the bull by the horns. Like, I'm gonna take care of this. Do what you gotta do, Bozy. I'm gonna go take care of this. I don't have Geisov winning that. That's a Jack Catterall. And on top of that, what everybody's been coming for Jack Catterall. Like, this is his time to shine in the sense of Keshawn won his belt. Anybody moving from 140 to 147 that was willing to drop down or move up, they're like, yeah, well, what's up with that Jack Catterall situation? So it's just like, I'm going to show y'all. On Saturday, I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to pack him up. I'm going to ask Bozy if he's good. And we're going to get right back to regular programming.
It's a big stage. And that's always part of the conversation when we were talking about these Ring Magazine Riyadh season cards, right? Like, it's that stage also plays part of the conversation. Fighters step up in that moment. Shakram, this is as close as he's going to get to a home field advantage, right? For him, like, he's a road warrior, right, by nature. But this one right here is the closest he's going to get to that kind of environment. And like you said, Ryan, a super motivated Shakram Giesov, not only because of the stage, but because of what sometimes we need motivation. And we talk about that mental aspect of boxing, that 70, 30, 80, 20 ratio of the mental versus physical. Shakram has all the motivation in the world to leave it all in the middle of that ring. And I think we're going to be looking at a fighter who might be willing to literally die Saturday in the middle of that ring, right? That kind of motivation. When you fight, I don't even want to picture. I won't picture losing any of my children. You know what I'm saying? But damn it, I can only imagine. In Alhamdulillah, I'm only imagining. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The motivation that man has dealing with losing a child and you know what's on the line for him, and that uphill battle he's fought trying to get in the ring with Rolly Romero, and just, you know, even trying to get the winner at the time of Stanionis and Jerome Boots Ennis, and just like, hold on, what about me? You know, getting caught in the political sanctioning body BS that a lot of fighters get caught up in. Chakram is in the middle of that and finally gets his opportunity. But then again, Jack Catterall should be motivated as well because he feels good. He's coming off of a stoppage of Echo Usman. He is someone who has an argument to say he was denied undisputed, right? Like, I was supposed to be here already, so I'm not going to play around with this. I think the trainer thing is going to be interesting. I feel like Bozy should be there. Not to say that Bozy should be there as far as like Bozy should leave his son. I'm saying like in this moment, all that work he did with Bozy, it would have been nice for Jack to have Bozy, you know what I'm saying? And he's not going to. So I don't know if that's the way he's been training with Bozy Ennis and whoever he's going into the ring with as far as a trainer. Will those styles clash? You know what I'm saying? Who's Jack Catterall going to be? 50-50 fight for me, and I'm going to be real with you. There's a part of me on the inside that's leaning towards Chakram. I ain't gonna lie. I'm leaning towards Chakram a little bit to win this fight. I'm telling you, man. I think that mental aspect is on Chakram's side. I think he's on edge. I think he's lit. I think he's properly motivated, bro. He's gonna make weight. The last fight he fought in, I believe it was a catch weight, like he was like 149.5 or something like that. He's gonna be in shape, gonna hit that damn weight, 147, and he's going to be dialed in. He's gonna see it as, if I don't do it now, I may never get a chance again because I'm not a draw. I'm not a superstar. If I lose this fight, people will never fight me again, bro. Whereas Jack, we'll see. I think Jack is right there too, but I just think Chakram edges the mental edge. I think he edges it.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it is 50-50, like what you're saying, Clay. And I'm picking Chakram to win too. But let me say this, Clay.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, no, I am. It's 50-50. No, we agree on that one. But and you know, I
never agree. So I'm like, I was blown away. Hey, you threw me on guard, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I was like, wait, hold on, what?
See what he's doing, Ryan. See what he's doing,
right?
Yeah. I play devil's advocate. The reason why our show is entertaining is Clay or me to play devil's advocate on either side.
Diabolical.
Help keep moving it. You know, it's not fun if you're listening to a show and everybody's agreeing on everything. So, no. What I'll say is two things. Number one, Eddie better hope Chakram wins, because if he doesn't win, then he doesn't have to do that extension. And Chakram, bro, come on over to Zuffa, man. Everybody wants you here. Chakram's awesome, bro. Everybody wants him with Zuffa.
Ryan, did you see it coming? Did you see it coming?
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely.
But secondly, if he does win, you already know the rules. Clay,
Right.
you know, he gets the world title, the extension happens, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I think that we have not talked enough, and this is not your fault, Clay, or anything, because you're saying it's 50-50. We have not talked enough about the fact that Jack Catterall really should already have been the undisputed Ring Magazine champion when he beat Josh Taylor and he wrongfully got robbed. And that was at the time that Josh Taylor was at his peak. So you have to try to remember that version of Jack Catterall with this new weight. And if that version of Jack Catterall shows up, bro, I don't know. 50-50. I think we got to be honest about how good Jack Catterall is. He doesn't suck. And I can argue that maybe the reason why he did split up with Bozy is he didn't like the too much offense. You know, maybe he wants to go back to some of what he used
Well, that's another good question, Angelo. Which Jack is needed to beat Chakram? Is the Bozy? That might be the blessing, because the Bozy Ennis, I agree with you. The Bozy Ennis version of Jack Catterall might have been the undoing of Jack Catterall in front of Giza. That's not who Jack. I think I agree with you 100%. Though the undisputed 140-pound champion Jack Catterall, I'll just say that, right? Because I brought it up a little earlier, and I'm just gonna say that, right? Because he did beat Josh Taylor, and he came back and got it back in blood, and really did beat him just without the undisputed titles on the line. That's the Jack Catterall that's needed against Chakram Giasov. Agreed or not? By the panel.
I do. I agree with that.
Yeah, master boxer.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, Fight Sports Talk, shout out from New Zealand, man. What's good, man? Long time no hear, brother. How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Long time I ain't hear from you, man. Listen, man, your people, Australia's on the map. Do you guys claim, I know you're New Zealand, but do you claim Australia? Like, do you claim Jai Battaglia? Do you claim Terramana, or is New Zealand, Australia kind of like, you know, California and New York a little bit? Like, is it like, different time zone, we don't really fuck with each other like that? What's going on?
I guess you could say it's like California and New York, but only for a joke. Like no one
Okay.
really hates each other. It's
Right. We don't hate
it's kind of
California.
like
California don't hate us, right? Exactly.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean the whole idea that it's really just when the teams play each other in rugby, because that's the big sport down here where there's any kind of rivalry. Aside from that, it's kind of like with Great Britain. Great Britain includes Scotland and half of Ireland, but I guess it's when you think of Conor McGregor, you think of Irish. You don't think of England, but they're in the same group, kind of. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure, man. So what's good, man? What's on your mind? I'm sure you got me. I don't get to talk to you that much, so there's always a whole bunch of boxing happening in between the times that we speak. So I can only imagine what's on your mind, man. What do you think about this card? What do you think about Chakram and Jack, by the way?
Well, I wish I jumped on a little bit earlier because I seem to be in the minority on the panel. I think Chakram's going to win. This is actually for me the best fight on the card, because I think now I don't want anyone to take this out of context. I think Geisov might be the best guy in this division, but emphasis on might. But just hear me out. I'm saying might be because it's a very new division where the champions are either new or we don't know much of. We haven't seen much of them. Like Ryan Garcia should have never fought for a title in the first place, but he did because the division was weak. Haney beat an undefeated but kind of an unknown champion in Norman, and kind of by default he's the best guy because all the big names after Crawford and Spence left the division. Boots left, Ortiz left, and now they're doing better at a higher division. So the division's so new. A silver medalist in the Olympics who's undefeated, who's got that aggressive Eastern European style, it's reasonable to think, well, who is the best guy? So now Geisov needs to fight all the top guys, and this is the right kind of step up. And like you're saying, it's coming during a tragedy for him. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be very competitive. Catterall is no pushover, but I think we've seen enough of Catterall to where, as the guy who should have become undisputed when he got robbed against Josh Taylor, he may have just been the best guy. He may have just been a product of good timing, because since then he's just looked like your average good contender. Not forget undisputed, not even like a future champion. We don't know if he's good enough. And again, I'm not saying Geisov is the best guy right now, but he would be my pick to beat the other champions. So I think he's going to pass this test, but I'm sure we'll probably see it go the decision. And if he's able to hurt and knock down Catterall, big deal.
Yeah. I love the take, man, and I love the intangibles that you brought to the table and reminded everybody about his Olympic background, and the motivation. We talked about the motivation as far as his child, and really I love the angle as far as the division being wide open. You know what I'm saying? Even though Devin Haney's down there, but he's fought Brian Norman, who people don't want to hear those talking points, but at the end of the day, look, man, when we talk about Devin Haney and you talk about the Haneys, you're talking about chess, not checkers. You got to celebrate those guys on multiple levels. Like all of a sudden, you're ready to fight Keshawn Davis, and it's perfect timing. It's perfect, and it's good. It's not bad. It's just Brian Norman arguably was not ready for a Devin Haney. He didn't have the experience that Devin did, right? So Devin still hasn't fought and experienced the best guy at 147, arguably, even though Brian Norman was the number one guy at the time. I agree with you. And the Ryan Garcia debacle is there for everybody to see. It's ridiculous. But he's a WBC champion. That's good for boxing, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Big stage, he has a belt, whatever. Rolly Romero, debacle. You know what I'm saying? That he's sitting here holding a WBA title. Chakram, I think most people I've spoken to always pick Chakram over Rolly, right? So he is kind of like an uncrowned king. I'm the underground king. I just ain't been crowned. I can't remember how 50 said it, but that's kind of like Chakram, who there's an argument to say that he is a champion in the division. He just hasn't had his opportunity yet, and this one's going to be a big test for him against Jack Catterall. And I also think I'll ask the panel, is Chakram truer welterweight. Is either more. Is either right? Like Jack is the 140 guy.
He's
147.
Yeah, no, I know where you're going with it, Clay.
Mm.
He's been the best 147. Let's not forget that again. It was a step aside money that allowed Stanionis versus Boots to happen. But people forget this, and I'm glad Fight Sports came on the show. Nice to see you. I don't know what time it is in New Zealand, but hopefully you're doing all right. But people forget that Stanionis lost to Geisov in the Rio Olympics already. So he has Stanionis' number, and had Geisov gotten a chance to fight Stanionis, he'd be the WBA champ, straight up, right? So, and he might have already defended it a couple of times by now, Clay. So he is like what Fight Sports is saying. I understood what Fight Sports is going with it. He was saying that in terms of pure pedigree and really, when you look at the 147 division, because I would pick Geisov over Ryan Garcia. I'd pick him over Ryan Garcia. I'd pick him over Conor Benn, right? The only person, and respectfully, Fight Sports, I wouldn't pick him over Haney, just because I'm watching how the Haneys are training, bro. And it's different, man. It's different.
I think Devin is the best, yeah. But I appreciate your angle though, as far as tested in the division, as far as tried true in the division to a degree. But go ahead, you was going to respond, Fight Sport.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, right now, Haney does deserve to be called the best in the division because he fought the guy who was, again, only considered the best by default, but he fought him and he beat him clearly, and he knocked him down, which I was not expecting. If people were to pick him, and also Geisov, I would have picked him to beat Norman, but it would have been more competitive because Norman has showed to be, he was the guy who came from behind to beat Santillan when people didn't expect him. And after that, you saw plenty, I know the Normans will kill me if they hear this, but you saw plenty of technical deficiencies, but the guy's got heart and the guy's got speed and can punch. But going into the Haney fight, you're like, okay, if he can't hit Haney, then how's this going to go? And he got outboxed. But I will say, Haney got away with way too much clinching as that fight went on. Like, he probably would have won anyway, but when you're able to grab your opponent and not get warned once, excessively, then it does make me wonder how Geisov, who's technically better than Norman, and they probably had about the same. It would just be a very interesting fight. But I agree with Reyes. Pick Haney, no problem. It's probably the reasonable thing to do given their resumes. But that's what I'm saying. For me, the question, it's not like an undisputed, this guy's the best guy in the division. It's like we don't know. That's why I want to see Geisov fight these top guys.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I actually want to Angelo put a link in here that I'm gonna put up here for this Jack Catterall. He's actually gonna speak on this whole entire Bozy thing, and I want to see what's going on here, guys. Let's see what Jack got to say about this here. Shout out to Boxing News.
At the Pyramids of Giza with Jack Catterall. Jack, change the scenery this. How have you found time in Egypt and Cairo and Giza?
Yeah, it's a little different to what we used to. Being called in Manchester our London Fight Week, but this is nice. It's different. I'm just saying, Len, it's a different fight week, but everything remains the same come Saturday night.
Just clarify for everyone listening, those are fireworks going off over here. Shakram Geisov, the man in the opposite corner, Jack. Heard you talking to Georgia there. He's not maybe had that breakout win in the pros yet, but very good amateur Olympic silver medalist. How do you rate him as a fighter? Stylistically, what sort of test do you think he's going to pose to yourself?
Yeah, I rate him highly. I think he's a good fighter. Like we said, I think we don't know where his ceiling is, but I prepared hard, I prepared well, and I expect him at his best on Saturday. So that being said, I've been focused on myself, improving what I can do, and I expect a good fight Saturday.
Been up at welterweight a wee while now. How are you finding that? Be it at this stage of the week, do you notice a difference then? And in the ring, do you think we are seeing the best Jack Catterall at 147 pounds?
Yeah, this will be the third fight at welterweight. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong. I feel like the fact that I've stayed in the gym since the last couple of fights, I've not had no time out of the gym. I've grown into the weight. It's not just a case of an easier weight cut. I feel big and strong at welterweight now.
This is, we hope, the last fight before a world title shot. Now, you've been here before with Arno Barboza. It didn't go your way that night. What lessons have you learned? And is there an extra focus going into this one based on what happened with Arno that night?
Yeah, of course. I can't afford to leave anything to the judges. That being said, a victory at all costs. But, yeah, there's lessons all the time in the gym, out the gym, in the fights. a lot of time to reflect and watch stuff back. I've had plenty of time to watch Geisov, plenty of time to work on myself. So I'm just buzzing for Saturday now.
Just last thing I want to talk to you about, Jack. You're training with Stephen Smith in Four Corners for this one, not with Bozy Ennis. What happened with Bozy? Was it just a case of convenience, training a bit closer to home in Liverpool, or was there a reason for not working with Bozy for this one?
Yeah, there's no deep reason to it. I spoke to Bozy. I've not closed that door fully, but right now I'm in a good place training with John and Stephen. I've had a great camp. I've been in Liverpool before and after the camp in Philadelphia, learning new things and training. So that's it. I'm in Liverpool and things are good.
We saw an aggressive Jack Catterall against Echo Esteban. What version are we going to see of you this Saturday night?
Yeah, listen, I know that I know I've got it in me, and I think it wasn't so much. You could say it was the trip to Philadelphia, but I feel like even just being out the last gym, a change of scenery, reminding myself, and I know I've got it in me to do it Saturday.
Jack, thanks for your time. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate all the best.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Very interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me tap in and kind of put in where I'm looking at this right now. Very interesting, right? So he had the conversation with Bozy, obviously, right, about what he wanted. He wanted something. He wanted to change it up. It sounds like, which to me, even inside of that victory with Echo Usman, I said it that night, and I'll pass it back to the panel, of course. But I don't think he liked what he had to do to get that victory against Echo Usman. He comes back to the UK and he says, that was great. It showed me what I can do if I need to. But this game is about hit and not get hit, right? Right, gentlemen?
Yep.
And we don't need to be up in there taking unnecessary damage. What do you guys think about what you heard him say about that?
No, I that's what I was saying before, is that maybe he didn't like that too much. Like, shout out to Bozy, man. I mean, he's doing great things. That we just talked about how it worked for Jarrell Miller, right? But that style's not for everybody, man. And let me also say that the style that Bozy teaches, it's for young people. That's not for older people. Like that's a hard style to carry, right? And Jack, he's got a boxing pedigree, Clay. So I'm just saying, like, he's probably just wanted to be at Liverpool, do his thing, kind of try to outscore the Olympian. That's a bigger win for Jack Catterall too, by the way. If he does beat Giza to beat the silver medalist from Rio, outboxing him, bro, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
What'd you think about that, Ryan? What you saw right there?
Man, I watch a lot of guys come and go with my dad, and I think fighters, I don't want to make Jack sound like a diva, but sometimes they just like that attention, bro. They want that attention. This is one of his biggest moments. He's probably thinking of it like, Bozy and Duran got a big moment too. Like, let's not be, let's call it what it is. They got a huge fight in June. I got a huge fight. He probably don't have enough time for his son and me, just to keep it 1,000. So he probably went to Bozy, said, what does your schedule look like? Looked at it and says, man, I'm not prioritized over here. I might as well go back to where I'm going to be prioritized. This is my big moment. He's probably talking about revisiting, obviously, after Duran.
Right.
I'll come back once they done, once we're done. Because sometimes guys just split because they feel like they're not getting enough attention. But shout out to Jack for keeping it professional. If he did have that talk with Bozy and left that door open, because you never want to burn bridges, man. Especially Bozy Ennis. Like, he's a good coach. He's got a great gym. He probably learned a lot in there, but it's just probably not enough time, enough airs for just two big fights right now. Like, they a month apart. So it's crunch time for Duran right now. He's putting in the last few works before he gets in the ring with Xander. You got to understand that. So I just think Jack Catterall probably just had that talk with Bozy, like, yo, what's your schedule? It probably didn't like it. And he's like, man, I'm going to go here, but I'll be back after the fight.
I love the take, Ryan. I think it could be a combination of everything. I love the take, bro. That was a really great take, bro, because it is like that sometimes. And, I always bring up the Derrick James situation. You know what I'm saying? When he spread himself just a little too thin, bro. And when you get all those superstars on one stable, these superstars are superstars for a reason, man. Anthony Joshua don't want, look, when I got a fight coming up, bro, I don't want to hear I got 2 hours with you, 3 hours with you, bro. Most of these fighters, they want to snatch their trainer. I mean, Shakur did the same thing with Karoma, right? He did the same thing when he walked away from him and was just like, yeah, bro, I'm a superstar, bro. So I need that exclusive, energy. You know what I'm saying? Errol, same thing, right? I don't need to be sharing my time with no damn Jamel Charlo and no damn Ryan Garcia and his camera crew coming in the gym. And I don't got time for that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy. I'm the golden boy. And does Jack Catterall feel like that to a certain degree? Maybe he does, right? Because he is used to being somewhat of a golden boy in the UK, right? He is a star in his own right. You know what I'm saying? And he's used to that. He's coming from that. And when you come to Philadelphia, that's not home. I'm not the star here. There's no secrets. It's one thing to, you know, get some good training and get some good looks. But at the end of the day, on the biggest stage and the biggest night of my life, I don't want to be overshadowed by anything else. I want to be that guy. It's bad enough I'm not the main event on this card. It's my time. That being said, though, and I also love the fact that he left the door open. So that means that the Bozy Ennis experience wasn't horrible at all, right? That he actually does like working with Bozy. But I like your angle. But I do think that might benefit him on this one. And I'm going to ask you guys and send it back to you guys as far as benefit is concerned. Might this be a blessing for Jack Catterall? Because in all reality, how did you guys feel about the Bozy Ennis style against the Shakram Giza for Jack Catterall? And I'm going to send it to Akeem, by the way. What did you think, Akeem, of what you just saw Jack Catterall talking about? You're muted. Oh, no, you're not muted, but you're definitely not. We're not hearing you. So you're not muted, but I don't know. You want to go out and come back in, or I don't know, because you're not muted. All right.
Yeah, you might have to go back out and come back in. No, I mean, look, Geisov is, like I told you, Clay, people think he's the guy that like will sit there and be slick and outbox you. And Geisov can do that, but Geisov got power, bro. He can put you out. So I think that Catterall probably wanted to be more, if I'm guessing, just from, you know, my experience of it, Clay, my guess is Catterall is trying to be defensively responsible against Geisov, and he wants to set traps. And I don't know if Bozy's like I agree with what Ryan was saying about that. That I wouldn't call it fighters becoming divas, because as you know, Ryan, it's a tough sport, right? But if you know, like,
hey, bro.
You know, it's one of these things.
We know the divas, bro.
but you know what I'm trying. You know what I'll say is that I think it's fair for fighters to want to put themselves in the best situation, and the reason why I'm gonna side that way also, because I've also seen trainers who are extremely mature that have said, "Hey, bro, for this fight, it might be better if you go with this person, because honestly, this is what's happening with me, and I want to make sure you do good, right?" And too often times, man, these fighters, and you know what I'm talking about too, Ryan, these fighters get guilted into staying into a camp or get guilted into staying with a coach. And it's like, bro, you should be looking for this young person's best interest in his career, because there's a short window. And if you, I always say this, like, if you're getting hired for whatever percent you're getting, and you can't drop what you're doing for that fighter, then, bro, the problem's not the fighter. The problem is you. And you need to figure out how you can make up for the time that you're not willing to give. And I'm sure, you know, your dad's experienced this before too, Ryan. Your brother, I'm sure, has experienced this before too. Because even for me, when I was coaching people, Clay, if I couldn't give a certain like vocabulary, or my voice was falling into a deaf ear, I purposely would bring other people in, like, so that because for me, all I care about is the job getting done. I don't need to be given the credit. You know, I just care that we win. I don't care who gets the credit. You know, I'd like to get my check though, Clay. You know, but
you gotta make sure that.
Yeah.
Nah, I like what you're saying also, as far as I agree with Ryan though, as far as the diva thing, but I don't think the diva thing is necessarily bad all the time. You know, Whitney Houston was a diva, but duh, right? Of course she's a diva. She should be a diva, right? Michael Jackson was a diva. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Some people earn the right to become a diva, and you know, there's not the word diva has a bad connotation to it sometimes, right? Some people should be divas. Anthony Joshua was a diva when he left Derrick James. He was like, bro, I'm fucking Anthony Joshua, bro. Respectfully, like respect everybody. Fucking AJ, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to knock anybody in here. I'm not a flexer, but I'm gonna go get my gym where I know when I call, they're like, yes, AJ, right on top of it, AJ, all day, AJ. You want us to go and live over here with you for 3 months, AJ? Yes, AJ. You want me to cancel everything I got going on because of you, AJ? Of course, AJ. I don't want to hear, hold on, let me see. Let me look. Let you see what, bro? Oh, say less. I appreciate you, bro. Say less. If you got to see anything, say less. I don't even want to hear it. So Jack Catterall on that UK side, he's kind of that guy. You know what I mean? He's earned that right to be that guy. And this is the big show. This is the big show. You know what I mean? I need you now. I'm fighting in Egypt. So if you can't even come to the UK, you know what I'm saying, to give me the camp I need, you ain't ready. This is in Egypt. Okay. This is in Egypt. This is a spectacle. So respectfully, I know you got to focus on your son. He's a big deal as well. He's doing his thing, and he's your son. That's why we're not going to close the door. We're going to leave it open. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do what's better for my career. It is what it is. I want to move the needle one more spot on this one here, and I want to talk about Hamzah Sheeraz for a minute here because I got Ryan here on the panel. Hamza, arguably the guy at 168 outside of a Canelo, Terrence Crawford, outside of those conversations, he is seemingly the guy. He brings that pedigree. I love what him and Andy Lee are doing. You know, that dynamic. This fight isn't a challenge for him like that. It shouldn't be. But we also saw him fall short with Carlos Adames, right? We saw him not. We've seen what it looks like when he's not all the way there. But Andy Lee wasn't part of that conversation. Andy Lee is a needle mover as far as a trainer in the game right now. He's always in the trainer of the year conversation for me. He hasn't won yet, in my opinion, but he's there, right? He's right there. He's doing the thing with Joseph Parker. He's doing the thing right now with Ben Whitaker, and he's doing the damn thing with Hamzah Sheeraz. What do you think about Hamzah Sheeraz at 168? And, you know, I'm assuming you think he's going to win, become a champion in the division. What you think about Hamzah right now on this card?
Yeah, definitely going to be a champ, man. Going to win the fight. I think this guy's only fought in 2 different countries, never fought in a big fight, so he should win. But I think for Hamzah Sheeraz, it's going to come down to keeping him away from 3 guys, man. Christian and Billy, Lester Martinez, and Iglesias. All 3 of them guys are pressure punchers. Pressure. We saw what Hamzah looked like in the Adames fight, and Adames don't be punching like these dudes. These dudes is heavy-handed, man. We're gonna see in Canelo and then Billy. I think Canelo gonna have a hard fight, man. I don't know why he picked in Billy.
I don't think he did.
Of all people.
I think we got to remember who's paying for this. You got to remember who's paying for this and how he get down. He don't play. That's one thing about Turkey. You're gonna get that money, but he don't play, bro. You gonna fight somebody.
So shout out to him, man. He going to fight in Billy, but man, I don't know if Hamzah Sheeraz can deal with those type of styles. That's why I say like those 3 guys. I think he beats everybody else in the division, but like just those guys, the styles just don't show me if they bring him into that place, he gonna get out of it with those guys. Maybe Iglesias, because Iglesias not really liking Billy and Lester. Lester, like they foot to the gas, bro. They coming at you like they're not stopping. That's just their style and the way they fight. That's why they had a great fight last year on the undercard. That was, we all love that shit. Nobody got knocked out, but we love that fight, man, because it was just straight brutal. Guys' heads going back every second, like it was great. And I just don't know if
caution to the
Hamzah
wind may be an
Sheeraz,
understatement, right, Ryan? Caution.
right. I don't know. I don't know if he can get into that with those guys and really come out on the right side of it,
Right.
But I think if he stays, I don't know how he stays away from them. He's gonna see him, one of them at least. But I think that'd be a great fight. But yeah, man, the other guys, Diego Pacheco, I think he beats Canelo too, and Caleb Plant, all these other guys, Jaime Munguia, I think he beats him. But yeah, those pressure fighters, they're gonna give him an issue, that's for sure.
So to keep the show fun, right? I'm gonna do the devil's advocate thing again.
He ain't playing devil's advocate. He believed this one. I'm telling you right now, when it comes to this Hamzah Sheeraz conversation, he ain't playing.
I can debate either way.
Yeah, but you're debating the side that you you're on your side right now. Go ahead, bro. But you on your side. Go ahead.
Clay knows I rock with the UK people, man. He knows I rock with the UK people. So first off, I just want to say, man, when Ryan was speaking, everybody in the chat and the replay gang, did you guys start tasting like a lot of maple syrup in your mouth and some of that Tim Hortons and that Canadian bacon? Because Ryan is shout out to Osley's Iglesias and Christian and Billy.
Yeah.
But both of them are promoted in Canada.
Conveniently enough.
And I was there to watch Lester Martinez versus Christian and Billy. That's one of the first times I sit there and I say to myself, should be a draw. It's hard to say, who could have won that fight. That was great. I think that when we talk about Adames, right? If we're gonna reward Adames after an Ammo Williams fight that really he was within inches of getting dropped himself, right? He totally beat Ammo Williams, but it wasn't like he showed me anything different than what he showed me against when he fought Derevchenko back before he even had the title, right? And I'm talking like PBC 2021, right? So has Adames really grown intellectually as a boxer? Adames is still Adames, man. The Hamzah Sheeraz fight, I believe Hamza when he says the weight cut was bad, which he never told Frank Warren. I also believe Hamza in saying his hand was hurting because if you rewatch the fight, because everybody wants to point to it. Go ahead and rewatch it. Hamza was busting his ass up with that jab, man. Up until he wasn't. So now I have to believe there had to have been an injury of some sort. And when you take a young Hamzah Sheeraz at 160, and that's his hardest fight, he gets away with whatever people want to say he gets away with. He's now moved forward, Ryan. He's now been told, hey, man, you can fight with 8 pounds more in your body. Oh, and by the way, we're going to give you this awesome coach named Andy Lee, who's going to become your Emmanuel Stewart, right? This is a different Hamzah Sheeraz. Now, I know people are going to go, well, Berlanga's not that good. Look, man, think of Berlanga however you want to think of Berlanga. At the end of the day, Hamzah Sheeraz put his ass to bed. Night-night. That's what happened to Berlanga, right? And the one thing Berlanga showed is toughness, but he still got put out. So I'm going to stand on 10 toes down, Clay, and say that if Hamzah Sheeraz does get in a firefight, whether it's Mbili or Osley's Iglesias or Lester Martinez, who I don't think Lester will go firefight. I think Lester will box around him. Mbili and Osley has every chance of getting hurt the same way Ryan's saying those guys could hurt Hamza. And my first example, Ryan, so that I can get some of this maple syrup washed down with some water. Let me get some water from this maple syrup I was tasting. Me and Claymore were, I think we were the only show that did a watch party for Osley's Iglesias. And we watched the dude that he was supposed to pack up. That dude had some success, Ryan. Now he beat him like he was supposed to. Now that dude is no Hamzah Sheeraz, bro. That dude is nowhere near Hamzah Sheeraz.
He might give Hamza problems too. That's just how much I think of Hamza right now, man. Edgar Berlanga not doing it for me. Like I thought Steve Rose beat him. Shout out to Steve Rose. That's my guy, man. And I'm like, this guy beat Berlanga. What the hell's going on? And then Berlanga biting people. Like, man, I knew he wasn't it. When Top Rank dropped him, I'm like, yo, he's not it.
You know what? Both you guys, right? I like both the takes, man, because I agree with Angelo as far, but this is where I am with Hamza. It's still an eye test for me. I'm not all the way. I'm there with Ryan. I'm a boxing fan who watches the intangibles. I want to see more. I love the dynamic between him and Andy Lee. That's what intrigues me. And the reason I love the dynamic is because Hamza was always missing something for me. And I love Andy being there because I think Andy may close up the holes. I think he may have already closed up the holes. And I think Hamza
Yeah.
might have arrived. He did great against Edgar Berlanga. He did some great things. But it's Andy, bro, for me. It's Andy. I'm wondering. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I want to see. I like what Andy's doing with him, and I want to see what happens. I don't even think Saturday is going to do it for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Saturday he's going to do what he's supposed to do. I expect him to be clean. I want to see him be dominant. I want to see more Andy Saturday.
You know who I blame for Saturday? I blame Diego Pacheco because he's the 100%. One who stepped out of the WBO mandatory against Hamza Sheeraz. That would have been a much better.
That was the test. That was going to be the one. I really believe. You know, it's so funny you bring that up because I believed the winner of that fight I was going to crown as the best 168 pounder in the division. When Diego fell out of that, I already gave Diego a pass for the Christian and Billy nonsense. You're supposed to get it. I was like, you know what? Maybe,
right.
I was like, maybe that's not.
Yeah, maybe he's not ready just yet.
He's not ready. But when he walked away from Hamza, I'm like, you chips, bro. You're Frito-Lay, bro. You not like that, bro. I guess I'm gonna have to wait and see who Hamza fights. And it's like, even with this fight coming up, it's not the one. It's not the one that's gonna make me crown him. But it will get him a title. It will put him in the conversations. And Hamza, I'm still questioning if Hamza is being handled.
Hey, man, I think Turkey's treating him a little different than he treats other people, bro. I'm not going to lie. Give him soft touches.
Does he not put him in?
Give him soft touches.
I'm going to need Turkey to be a man. I think Turkey's a man of his word. I think he pushes for unifications. I think he pushes for undisputed. And I also think the Canelo Alvarez fight is a real fight for Hamza Shiraz. That probably will be the unification. And that's probably going to, unfortunately, and I say it, unfortunately, be the litmus test. Because I would like him to get a litmus test before Canelo, but I think Canelo may be the true litmus test. And you already said it, though, Ryan. You said you think he beats Canelo. So on the back end of him beating Canelo, is he the truth?
This is what I'm saying. Like, he's gonna stay away from the other guy. It's gonna force him to stay away because Iglesias, unless nobody fight him, which they might not, he might just be a guy that the fans are gonna say, "Oh, he ain't got no clout. He's over there fighting nobodies. We don't need to fight him." They're going to make that conversation up. Just know I said that now. But in Lester, he's not going to get the shot. He with WBC. We know how Mauricio go. He's not going to get the shot if Hamza gets the belt.
Protective custody. He's going to be PC, right?
Yep. But Canelo going to do the dirty work and beating Billy. So he'll be out the way of them three.
But I want to ask you this, though, because in a way, you kind of given Hamza Shiraz the head nod already. You've already kind of give him the props because you've already picked him to beat Canelo. And you've agreed that Canelo will be a legitimate litmus test to make him what the eye test might be telling people he is. That's a lot, man. I mean, I feel like you're giving him a lot of credit already. I feel like you already kind of giving it to him, bro. Like,
I mean, he got to do it, but
right. Of course,
he got to do it. But at the same time,
you got them team trumpets in your mouth now,
Even if he beats Canelo, you're favoring the other guys over him in those fights against Bozy Iglesias, even if he beats Canelo?
Yeah, man. Because it's just styles make fights. For me, at least. I'm not the triangle theory guy. I don't do that stuff. People do that stuff. I'm like, man, that don't make sense. Like we see it all the time. The triangle theory fails. So it's styles, bro, for me. And I think Hamza Shiraz is he's way more taller than Canelo. He got the range. Bud Crawford put the blueprint out how to beat him now. I think it's already there. But these other dudes, man, they just Lester especially. I think Lester probably the one who might get him because like if they can force that.
I think Lester's the dark horse of 168. I think he's a dark horse. He is any given Sunday, any of these dudes can get it. Lester has and then he got that Bomac. He got those intangibles, bro. You can only imagine the kind of work he's getting in that gym. He's got those intangibles, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like every time you see him, he's mixing the shots up. He's level changing. The footwork is nice. Matter of fact, has Lester Martinez shown you guys his strength yet, or is he an all-around fighter still? Like, we were talking about that with the G Caballel and Richard Torres. We were talking about how G Caballel, does his thing. And we were talking about how Richard Torres is an all-around fighter. I kind of look at Lester Martinez the same way, except I rate him higher than Richard Torres. But do you feel like he's shown us his strength yet? What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's great. Lester Martinez is awesome. The interim thing kind of throws us off, right? Because he does have a draw against the champ who's going to get a chance to fight Canelo. But Lester Martinez, from what I'm hearing, is supposed to fight Jaime Munguia for the WBA on the Canelo undercard. So let's see, man. This newly renewed Jaime Munguia under Eddie Reynoso, you know, like that's kind of like what we were saying about Fabio Wardley's with Ben Davidson, but Ben Davidson's taking notes on Dubois. Maybe this is one of those where Eddie Reynoso is taking notes on Lester Martinez, because I do believe that, I'm telling you, man, Canelo, look, maybe I'll be wrong, and it's possible, but I think Canelo uses Mbili to prove to everyone why he should have never been taken off the pound for pound list. I think he does Mbili dirty, bro. I think that it's like, I was there to witness Crawford put belt to ass on Canelo, but the one thing me or Clay were never shocked at, right? We were never shocked at, and that's true, Johnny Blaze.
You're right, Johnny. You're right.
Yeah. But the one thing me and Clay was never shocked at, in fact, we kept pushing this narrative, is that Crawford was going to destroy Canelo. We just kept pushing it over and over again. People would bite back at us, and then we ended up being right. So that wasn't a surprise to me. Can Mbili fight like Crawford? No, he cannot.
No.
What is Mbili's style? It's the one
pressure.
Have I never seen Canelo fight against pressure people before?
Not in a while. Not in a while.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you don't think Canelo, after a year layoff of just being able to box,
when was his last pressure? Right? Where was his last pressure fighter, in your opinion? Who?
That's recent, right? I mean, because he's been doing a lot of big fights.
Whoever.
I mean, okay, I guess we can't say that Berlanga was a pressure guy.
He started, but as soon as he got put in his pockets, he got
humbled.
He got humbled quick.
So
yes.
Now, same thing. And Munguia was working with Freddie, and at that time, Munguia was a pressure guy.
I fuck
so
with
that's back-to-back pressure guys, right? So I'm just saying, like you guys are packing up Canelo like this guy's 45. Okay, the guy's 35. Okay,
yeah, but he's a 35. He's a 35. You know what I'm saying? He's not he a 35. You know what I'm saying? Like he a whole 35. Like he a real 35. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, listen. I understand. I truly do. But at the end of the day, I think Canelo getting paid a lot of money, getting whatever stem cells that he needs to get, rejuvenating himself. Remember that he got that elbow surgery that he needed after the Crawford fight, right? I'm telling you, man, Canelo is going to make a statement on September 12th. It's going to get built up as Mbili's going to do whatever Mbili's going to do. Watch, bro. Canelo is going to look good. He's going to go into mic and go, yeah, bueno, cabrones. And then he's going to say, put me back on the top 10. I'm the king. And guess who a good old Turkey's going to set up? Hamzah Sheeraz, Canelo Alvarez. Big fight. Big fight.
Do you think we get an undisputed champion at 168 again?
Damn, dude. The only way we would do it is if if Lester Martinez beats Munguia, what was promised to Lester Martinez is that he would get a shot at Canelo. So Canelo beats Mbili and Lester Martinez beats Munguia. I think what will happen is Cinco de Mayo 2027, you're going to see Canelo, Lester Martinez, and then September of 2027, you're going to see Hamzah Sheeraz versus Canelo, right? So it's just like what Ryan from the Six said. It's all about what they're going to do with Osleys Iglesias. Are they going to let him, mess up? Are they going to because, none of the guys are really going to give him a chance. You tell me, Clay, what's the upside for Hamzah Sheeraz to unify with Iglesias? What's the upside? Right? He ain't popular.
Undisputed. If Canelo does the work you're talking about, maybe that might motivate Hamza to be like, you know what? Because Turkey's a son of a bitch. Turkey is a son of a bitch, bro. I'm telling you, bro. These guys be thinking Turkey don't love these hoes, bro. He don't love these hoes. You might treat him nice. You might take him out shopping. Might have him looking good. You might see him. He might pay their rent, but they hoes. At the end of the day, when it's time for them to go on that strip, Angelo, he gonna put them out on the strip. You feel me? Ain't none of these hoes above the strip. You heard? Ain't none of these hoes above the. Maybe I might put you on the strip, but I might get you an escort service. But that ass is gonna make me some money. You're gonna get daddy some money because that's what you here for. Don't get it twisted. Fly frequency. Assalamu alaikum. Aki, what's good with you, fam?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yo, what's going on with you, man?
Doing good. Did
What's up,
you like
Angelo?
my little pimp, my turkey and pimp thing? Did you like it?
What's up? What's up? Good to see you, man. I'm glad you jumped on.
These hoes be feeling like they good, right? Canelo thought he was good. You just a high. You a high maintenance hoe, but you a hoe at the end of the day, and you gonna fight him, Billy, right?
Hey, I want to talk about that too a little bit too about Canelo, fighting pressure fighters and Billy and whatnot. But when he fought Munguia, we know Munguia is a pressure fighter, but he didn't really necessarily fight that way with Canelo though, right? Canelo was like pushing him back, like wasn't he? And
no,
it was like
he
was holding
what
his
happened,
own, but he
Flyer?
didn't really push Canelo back, did he?
Yeah, no, what happened on that fight, Flyer, is so he goes to Freddie Roach. Freddie's teaching that style. And then remember how Canelo caught him with that uppercut hook?
Yeah, and he wasn't
then
really
that's
pressuring
when
him.
he was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, whoops.
Yeah, and so I was thinking, with Billy, I think it depends on if Billy's actually going to pressure Canelo. Are we going to actually see Canelo pressured? Somebody that's going to push him back or whatnot. I think Billy probably can do it. Yeah,
and Billy's going to pressure. I'm 97.89% sure what Billy's going to do because I don't think he has too much else he can do.
Right.
I think he is who he is. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he got a choice. So, yeah, bro. Canelo, and I agree with you. I think Jaime Munguia, there's always these intangibles, right? Like, yes, Jaime Munguia brought the pressure, but he also brought in a little too much respect for Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
He respected him. He had that respect for that Mexican thing. He knew he was very thankful, very grateful. And Billy ain't grateful. And Billy's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, right? So and Edgar Berlanga got humbled too quick. He tried, but as soon as he got sound in his pockets, Edgar got on his.
That was it. He was on survival mode.
Yeah. So I think Billy showed in that Lester Martinez fight. Getting punched in the face ain't gonna stop him from coming forward. You're gonna have to stop him. He's not going to respect you. I don't care if you knock him on his ass. He's gonna get up, dust it off. Outside of him not having his legs under him, and even with him having his legs not having his legs under him, he's still coming forward, bro. You're gonna have to stop that guy. He don't know no better. You don't know no better.
Yeah, I think he's gonna make Canelo fight harder than he used to fighting. So I think he probably got a chance unless he go in there and do something different.
and he said it on an interview on Inside the Ring, and he's just being so honest. He says, bro, it's the pressure. You ain't never dealt with pressure. Like, he's bringing the pressure. He doesn't even mind telling the world what he's going to do because it don't matter. Because he's got one of those styles where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you come up to Christian Billy, like, I know what you're going to do. All you're going to do is apply pressure. He's going to look at you like, yeah. Yep.
That's what he do.
Exactly yeah. You be ready for that. I'm not, don't be ready for boxing. Don't be ready for the cerebral action. I'm going to put that pressure on you, and I'm punching. I'm going to punch all over you the same way you think you're going to punch on me, and we're going to find out. Canelo, satin sheets, right? Satin pajamas. You know how the theory goes. Canelo living good, bro. That man's riding.
Did y'all make picks? Did y'all make picks on that fight?
With who? Billy and Canelo?
Yeah.
I got Canelo.
I got Canelo, bro. And Flyer, check this out, man. Let me just add this.
Even coming off the loss, y'all don't think his ego was a little. Y'all don't think his confidence was a little deflated.
Nah, bro.
I hear you. I question it because I think Billy's a problem. I'm be real with you. Like, Billy could win and it wouldn't shock me, but I just gotta go with the pedigree. I think
I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on this, Flyer, so we can go back to these episodes and go. Remember when Angelo said that? Bro, Canelo is gonna watch. Because here's the thing, all right? I get why everybody's excited about Billy. I get it, guys. I get it. You're all excited, comes forward, throws a lot of punches, blah, 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 blah. but he didn't hurt Lester Martinez. And I can't say that Lester Martinez is a quote unquote power puncher. I'm not sure that Lester Martinez hits harder than Canelo. I don't think he does. And I think that people discredit how hard Canelo actually hits. He dropped Munguia, he dropped Berlanga, he drops people, and then they back off. That's what happens with Canelo, right? He hurts him, he hits him in the body, he drops him, he catches him with that perfect shot, and then they start backing off. Mbili is a come forward guy all the way. So look at his record, Clay, and tell me which one of the opponents he's fought in the last 30 fights that even equal to counter power punching ability that Canelo brings to the table. That would be nobody. So
you got Canelo by stoppage.
Oh, I got no. Because I think what's going to happen is Mbili's going to survive it the same way Munguia did, the same way Berlanga did.
So you think he's going to get hurt and then he's going to back off?
I think Canelo's going to hurt him, and I think he's going to back off. I think he's going to be like,
yeah. I think I'm gonna be real with you. Canelo might stop him because
now Clay switch it. See,
I'm not switching. Listen,
no, I know, but I'm just saying that's what I've been saying about
right.
You guys
I'm just giving Christian Mbili his flowers to say that Canelo. I'm just being honest, right? I'm just giving all these angles and all the intangibles. It's up to everybody to make up their mind how they want to make their decision. I'm gonna be fair. I'm just not gonna make it. The fair thing to say is Christian Mbili brings that pressure, and Canelo is going to be in there with somebody who he hasn't been in there with in a long time. This is going to be young Canelo getting brought back. This is young Canelo. This is Kirkland Canelo. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is different Canelo. But he showed up in those fights in the ways that he did. I just think Canelo, first of all, I think Canelo is one of the hardest punchers in boxing, pound for pound. People forget that about him. Just pound
and you
for
also
pound,
said, and you also saying in Billy, he's gamey like that. Like he's not going to let getting hurt stop him from still pressuring. That's what you're saying.
Which is why I think he might get stopped.
Yeah,
because intelligence might not be the thing he brings into the ring, right? Like he doesn't know better. It seems. I feel like if he gets hurt, does he know better to fight differently? I don't think he does, and I think that's what gets him stopped. I think he gets hurt and he comes back the same way, kind of like Fabio Wardley to a degree, right? Just don't know better. You know what I'm saying? For some reason.
Yeah. No, and the reason why the reason why I've been so hard on it, Flyer, is because again, you got to just strip away the eyes of yes, Terrence Crawford proved he's a GOAT, he's one of the greatest of our generation, but Canelo was trying to problem solve against a generational guy. Right. Mbili ain't no generational guy. Mbili still has to prove to us that he's not a Berlanga. And Berlanga was bigger. Berlanga was coming forward. And the minute Berlanga got caught, Flyer, he was like, so that's why I think he might go decision, because I think Mbili will get caught, and then he's gonna go,
I feel like that was against a Canelo who ain't lose in a while though. I still question Canelo, coming off of that Bud Crawford fight. He just seemed so deflated after Bud beat him. He just, I saw that interview with the guy, whatever, he tried to, pump Canelo up and tell him that, he thought Canelo won, and Canelo just looked at him like, nah, bro. Canelo, he just seems so deflated, so I just question how he gonna be. I gotta see Canelo come back and see if he's gonna still have that same tenacity and that same mojo that he usually have, with these fighters. I don't know how he gonna approach it, especially coming into this fight. You got a pressure fighter on you now, one that can punch. And so, I don't think he was too worried about Bud Crawford punching power when he went in there, but I think he was surprised, and actually at the end of that fight, man, towards the end, it looked like Bud, when he started stepping on the gas, it looked like he was ready to stop Canelo, like Canelo looked like he was about to go. If it was a little more time, I think Bud would have stopped him, man.
Yeah.
But
I think when you're thinking about, okay, you got to remember that Canelo is smart. He's very smart. And why do I say that? I say that because he understands the difference between Terrence Crawford's power and Christian Mbili's power, right? He understands that the thing that Terrence Crawford brings to the table is he hits you with the shit you don't see. And that Canelo knows I'm susceptible to that. If I get hit by shit I don't see, I can get stopped. He doesn't think he can't be stopped. I think Billy's more blunt, a blunt force coming forward. And Canelo knows how to manage that. He understands how to manage that better. Like, he's way more fearful of Terrence Crawford stopping him than Christian Mbili. Because he knows, like, Mbili, you're crazy, you're a wild man, you're bringing that pressure. But I've seen all that before. The thing about Terrence that scared Canelo was the IQ and the power combined, right? Like, damn, bro, I don't want to get hit with something I don't see because he hit hard enough. That's what Terrence does. He hits hard enough. And Billy got power, but he's still untrained. He's a wild animal in the ring. He's way more manageable. The wild animals are always way more manageable than the guys who are executing shots and moving their heads off the line and turning you and setting you up and walking you into shots, you know what I'm saying? Pissing you off until the point where you keep your hands in your pocket and you're like, I don't even want to play no more. Coach Bernard Hackett in the building. Coach, what's good?
What's up with you good brothers? How y'all feel today?
All right, man. Salute to you, Coach.
Definitely, man. I just been listening in on the show. Number one, I want to definitely say I love the brothers' comments about the Mbili and Canelo fight. But I think Mbili is an A-level guy, but I think Canelo has seen the A+ guys. He's seen the legends, and it's just a regular A guy with power. I don't think that brings any type of fear to Canelo. I think he almost welcomes that as opposed to a punching technician like a Bud Crawford style fighter that could get him with a 4-punch combination, but they didn't mean but one of those four to land with that stopping power. You just don't know which one of those four. So I do like that comparison, but I think Canelo has seen it all. I don't think there's nothing that can shock him in the nature of boxing with the longevity and being at the top of the game as long as he's been there. And my second thing was, I think Richardson Hitcher said a mouthful in his last interview when he said, everybody's going to be with Zuffa. He said in a matter of months, I think it may be a year or so, but he said Conor Ben's fighting for a belt. He said, I'm going to fight for a belt. These are not, he's really showing that it's going to be a new era in boxing with Zuffa. Zuffa's not destroying the game. They're enhancing it to the point where you're going to see fighters get opportunities. They'll lose, but won't think their career has come to an end, like it is in the current system of things with the what I call the end of the Floyd Mayweather era. It had to be ushered in by something completely new, and I think that's Zuffa.
It's the Zuffa era, Clay. It's the Zuffa era.
Listen, man. I'm telling you, the game changer, Conor Ben, Ryan Garcia, is going to usher in a tsunami of fear over the traditional space. I'm telling you guys, I see the writing on the wall. Conor Ben versus Ryan Garcia is going to put the game on alert. Like it's putting the game, it's going to be an announcement of Zuffa boxing, because the one thing the space had was that Zuffa was going to be on the island, and they celebrated it. They pushed it. It's an island. No, it's not. It's actually the whole planet. It's actually chess, not checkers. It's development. We're going to develop the next generation of champions, and we're going to take all of those belts, because our fighters are going to be developed. The Jaleel Hackett's, the Robert Merriweathers, the Mazian Van Houders, they're going to be developed. They're going to be fighting 3, 4, 5 times a year. They're going to be the best. And then they're going to come over to the sanctioning body side and take those belts. Once we control those belts, the game is over. Yeah. Because the one thing about it that I keep telling everybody is the sanctioning bodies are easy work. All they need is money. Easy work. You guys, I don't care about them speeches by Mauricio Suleiman and them long letters. You guys are easy. I got money. You want money, right? All right, shut up. I'll call you in a minute. I got you. They're not gonna say no to the bread. It's like a girl who is all about money. A real player, no. We ain't paying you to fuck with us. We paying you to leave. You know what I'm saying? You easy. You not work. I don't got to give you game. I know. I just got to buy you a purse. I just got to put a bunch of bottles around you in the club, and you going to show up every time. The girl that's gonna give me a problem is the one that's in church. The one that's in the library, that's the one who don't care, and I gotta actually treat her good. I gotta say the right things to her. You guys are expensive hoes, but what's an expensive hole to a billionaire? You know what I'm saying?
Clay,
You get tricking when you got it? No.
Hey, Clay, I say this. They were right. It is an island. Zuffa is an island. And it has to be because everybody they offered a ticket, they've all flown to the island. And I haven't seen it. It is Fantasy Island.
The play, boss. The play.
The whole group. And whatever your fantasy is, they're making it happen. I mean, I still think, and I'm going to say this, I think there is always going to be a space for traditional boxing because there are going to be fighters who have a different mindset or path. There are going to be some fighters that say, I think I need to be developed, and I think that in developing me, I got to go somewhere where they're going to do my 4-rounders, my 6-rounders, my 8-rounders, and those promoters are going to deal with them. But then those promoters are going to realize I may have 100 fighters, but I only got 3 or 4 that I think I can take to ring or take to Riyadh, and the rest of them will stay on the traditional path. Because, like I said, you got to fight at Zuffa. You got to fight. But for those guys that want to fight and they're not caught up on my they're actually going to be introduced to a new wave of fans. Because UFC fans do not give a shit about your If you got an but you haven't fought anybody, they actually feel the opposite. Now it's time for you to fight somebody. And that's the nature of fans they're going to be introduced to. They're going to be introduced to those fans. They're going to be introduced to WWE fans.
Oh, no. Coach Hackett and his phone. He's cooking.
Coach,
Coach was
put the phone out the window, Coach. Put the phone out the window, Coach. There you go. You back.
Yeah. I just think that they're opening up the lane to a whole new set of fans. You have WWE fans who love storylines. You have UFC fans who love the battle. You have slap fans who come to see the toughest guy. They're bringing in a whole different level of fans that now boxing fans will be able to tap into like no other way, and fighters will develop new fan bases. Right now, if you're looking on level 500, you can buy Jalil Major Hackett his glove from a Zuffa 2 fight. You can buy t-shirts of his. They're not just pushing superstars, they're pushing a roster. This is as close as combat sports, boxing-wise, will ever get to the NFL. And the NFL, I haven't seen one player say, I don't want to play in the NFL. No matter what their level is, they all want to be in the league.
And that's what I've been saying, Clay, is that there is no monopoly. It is impossible because I promise you, there's going to come a point, I'm going to say probably by the end of 2027, you're going to see 250 people in this roster, and it's going to be 250 of the best people you're either watching to see come up or is already the champ or of some sort. So there'll be a space for sanctioning bodies. But everybody's going to start to look at the sanctioning bodies, and Coach Hackett will agree with me on this, like the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. But that ain't the national champion, because the national champion, they play in Zuffa. That's the league. That's the SEC, baby. That's the Big Ten. Like that's and it's going to take a little bit of time. That's what Dana's saying. Give me, 2 to 5 years. 2 to 5.
Shout out to Donnie956 who says Oscar's Instagram post is so frustrating and manipulative, trying to come at Zuffa through prospects losing. Bro, when the traditional space speaks like that, it's so exposing. I remember sitting up there talking to Brad Goodman with Ness. Shout out to the boxing voice. Shout out to Ness. I gotta pop up there again. I haven't popped in a little while. I know he's probably like, what the hell is Clay at? Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just doing his thing. Anyway, but talking to Brad Goodman on there, and when Brad Goodman said, pretty much saying, protecting the fighters' undefeated records, these young fighters, don't let them take losses early, it can ruin them, things of that way. I remember the look on Ness's face, and Ness is one guy who doesn't buy this stuff for shit, right? He said, bro, but he said, respectfully, Brad, That's what we kind of talking about. Like, we don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? He just told Brad. Brad's like, I know you guys don't want to hear. He's like, yeah, bro, why can't they fight? We're not saying put them in the ring to be food, but why can't they compete? Why can't they take a loss and still be great fighters? Why can't we watch these guys fight each other? Why do we got to play these games? And I think that's a boxing fan's perspective, 100%, a promoter's perspective as well. But it's getting to that point to now where the question is, can a fighter still be a superstar and have losses? Yes. And I think Zuffa's going to prove that. And I think these Oscar De La Hoya and his contemporary talking points about, you know, protecting fighters' O's and giving their losses being something the worst thing in the world, I think it's falling on deaf ears. And if anything, kind of exposing him more and more when he keeps on talking that way. That's not what this is about, man. That's not what it's about. Be better. Win. Shout out to Robert Merriweather. I haven't talked to him in a while, but support those guys. The loss doesn't define you, bro. Matter of fact, the loss could catapult you because you'll get better. You'll be more motivated. You can come back from a loss and have an even better storyline because of the loss. This protecting the O thing has got to go. It's ruined the sport. And I love when Oscar De La Hoya talks, just like Dana White says. Dana White says, I love when he talks, bro. You can't pay for that kind of publicity. You know what I'm saying? You can't pay because Oscar is very rarely saying anything tangible. He's always hurting himself. When he went over to the Senate, Dana was like, oh, I couldn't have paid him. I couldn't have sent nobody a check large enough to give what Oscar gave to me for free. Please keep talking. Please keep your clapback Thursdays and keep being so insightful with your points. We love it. We love it.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, Coach Hackett, you could speak to this, but wouldn't you say that Jaleel losing a controversial decision actually made him grow up even more and made him a better fighter when you look back at it now?
I say it made him a more fighter. As
maturity.
Finding blame in someone else, he had to find blame within himself. And when that accountability came from that fight, that's what I'll say. Accountability came from that. Because I think every fighter kind of, and I'm not saying they should lose, but I think every fighter's first loss, it lets them see who really is in their corner and who's just a fan of the sport. Because everybody will take pictures with you and shake your hand and pat you on your back. But when a night doesn't go right, and the biggest example we can use is Earl Spence. Earl Spence was a destructive monster. He had a night not go right, and everybody under the sun wrote him off. Like he was a bum. Like he didn't do what he did in his career. And they wanted to hide behind the mask of we're thinking about him. You haven't thought about him since the first time he got hit in the head. Nobody thinks about a fight because if they would, they wouldn't want him to get hit in the head.
Facts. I agree. And I think that's a maturity thing. You know, a fighter like Jaleel, by the way, and that's important, right? Because a loss for a fighter who doesn't think like Jaleel can end his career. It can put him in a position where he can't come back because he's so focused on the O. But a fighter like Jaleel, with the mentality of Jaleel, will not even allow you to take that loss away from him. He will not allow you to say he got robbed that night or he should have won. He won't allow you to do it because his superpower is, nah, bro, we ain't gonna do that. I lost, bro. And I had to get better. I had to be better. I had to be a better person outside the ring and inside the ring. And that's what I did. I made the adjustments. Because of that fight, I am who I am. So no, you don't get to take, that's like a scar. That's like a battle scar. You know what I'm saying? That's my scar, bro. That's my scar. You can't, there's people who want it covered up. Hit that with the laser. I want nobody to know I have a scar. There's some people who wear it with pride, like, nah, bro, this right here, bro. This thing right here, bro. Let me tell you the story about this thing right here and why, because of this thing right here, I'm a different dude. than a lot of other dudes you met because of this thing. And that's the difference between a Jaleel Hackett and, that defines you. And I, once again, bringing up Robert Merriweather because he's such a talented fighter. He took a loss, but the get back is going to tell us about you, not about the loss. The loss ain't going to, the loss is there. We looking at the get back.
Right.
We can't wait for the get back. That's what's going to let us know. Well,
the other thing too, and Donnie956, we appreciate you throwing your comments out there. But I'll say that, and I'm not going to take credit for this because Jaleel said it in his post-fight conference, but one of the things that he loves about Zuffa that I think all fighters 25 and younger should love about Zuffa is exactly what Jaleel said, right? And I'm going to use a recent example. So Emiliano Cardenas with Robert Garcia was a heavy favorite. Alexis Alvarado was a plus 600 underdog. Jaleel told you and me, Clay, to bet on Alexis, right? I should have been smarter, and I should have made a bet because I'd be at plus 600 or something right now. But Emiliano is 21. And what Jaleel said is, you fight a few Zuffa fights and you lose a few Zuffa fights, maybe boxing's not for you. And now you're young enough to invest the money you made into going to college or doing something else. Mm-hmm. The other system entraps you because they turn you into Ty Fields, Coach Hackett. They make you think you're an actual contender just to get knocked out by Monty Barrett when you're finally on HBO. And that system, all it robbed you is of your youth and your potential to do whatever it is you could have done in your life.
100%. Guys, it's about that time, man. Those are some great takes. Today's show was a great show. The shows are getting better, by the way. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man, who's appreciating that legitimate boxing talk, man. I love the community, bro. Thank you, Coach. You're becoming a regular, and I'm hoping that's what it actually is. You know what I'm saying? Love having your takes up here, bro. You always have the great takes. Shout out to the panel before. Shout out to Akeem Blake. Shout out to Ryan from the Six. Shout out to Fighting Sports Talk from out of New Zealand. All great panel. Higher frequency, my Aki, man. Higher level, higher frequency of boxing talk, man. Trying to keep it up there, man. I appreciate all you guys. And of course, shout out to my co-host Angelo Reyes, man. It's been a good one, man. 3 hours, man, but it was a good 3 hours, man. The playback going to be great. So shout out to the playback gangs, the guy who's going to be catching this later. Guys, remember to hit that like button. Let's get a thumbs up for the channel. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting on. Subscribe to the channel. Hit your notifications, bro.
Replay gang, make sure you're engaging too, man. We want to hear your comments. Engage and put down what you thought. Maybe you didn't agree with Coach Hackett. Most of you usually do, but maybe some of you didn't.
Yeah.
So put it down and engage with us. Let us know.
Until the next one, guys, it's ATP. It's your boy Clay. And at the end of the day, at this point, until the next one, we out.
Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles. Said I'm in my element, it's evident that there's levels to the game. All of those dark nights, I got breaking my back to make it out. Got me feeling like rain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy. The riches got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me. But known for my city like Giza. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness.